going on, everyone? It's episode 192, recorded Monday, December 18th, 2023. I'm Hambone, and hey, Cooz.
Hey.
Hey. A husband comes home to find his wife with her suitcases packed in the living room. Where the hell do you think you're going, he says. I'm going to Las Vegas. You can earn $400 for a blowjob there, and I figured I might as well earn some money for what I do for you for free. The husband thinks for a moment, goes upstairs, and comes back down with his suitcase packed as well. Where do you think you're going, the wife asks. I'm coming with you. I want to see how you survive on $800 a year.
What is up, everybody? On tonight's show, the Four Horsemen Unite. We're back at it once again. A special project by Mr. Bob Cooz himself, also known as Kevin, will be announced.
Kevin.
And of course, our 2023 Game of the Year wrap-up. And of course, we're going to have many other fun categories like we always do. Looking forward to it. Gentlemen, we're back in the same room, monitor, screen thing. It's nice seeing you sexy people. Kevin sporting his little Christmas Story rabbit ear onesie. As always, it was like when we met up on Doing Extra Life. You had like an outfit change every hour, but no one ever knew it. All of a sudden, you just walked around the corner and something new, and it was fantastic.
Yeah, you actually gave me the idea because I wore this to be Little Mac, and you were like, "Are you Little Mac or Ralphie?" And I was like, I look just like Ralphie. So
you do actually.
Yeah, you gave me the idea for this, so thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Yeah, the glasses.
Are the ears added on? Is that extra?
Yeah. It's a little.
Wow. It looks seamless.
I know, right? Same color and everything.
Well played. Well,
I'll post a pic.
Of your dick?
Sure, that too.
All right.
Save that for a little later. We got a tease.
Oh, that's right. Tease. Well, on the topic, Cooz, how you doing, buddy? What's new over in your neck of the woods there?
I am doing great. Merry Christmas. It's good to see you guys again. It's been too long. I've been super busy. This past Friday, I sent you a picture. I went ice skating with my daughter. I took her on a daddy-daughter date. We went ice skating. It was colder in there than I remember. But then I took her down to the to Colfax at 8:30 at night. You know Colfax, John. That's where all the hookers hang out. I took my 8-year-old daughter down there at like 8:30 at night, and there was like druggies and stuff, but it was cool. I mean, I think she held her own. And then the next day I got up because my wife had booked me a day at a hotel by myself. I was allowed. She booked me a hotel. So I got up and I went and I got my pedicure, my toes done. I got my back waxed. I went to the tanning bed. I got all my spa needs out of the way. And then I went to this hotel, and then my car broke down the hotel. My car broke down.
The Tesla?
Yeah. So I had to have it towed. So I was stuck there, and I was at a hotel, like, I don't know, about an hour away. And so I just stayed there that night and, by myself. It was no fun. I walked across the street and did some shopping, bought a bunch of clothes, and then walked back with big bags full of clothes. And then woke up Sunday morning, and my wife had to come get me, came home, and I did something on Sunday morning. Then I had my youth group Sunday night, and I had to work Sunday morning, which is ridiculous.
What a shame.
Then I had my youth group Sunday night, and then woke up this morning, worked, got home, sat down, and here I am with you guys. But I'm excited because on this coming weekend, I'm flying to Hawaii for Christmas.
Wow.
Jeez.
Yeah, I haven't even started packing yet. I haven't had time.
You live an amazing life, Cooz. Like just the description of the last 7 days is more than I've done.
It's exhausting.
Probably in the last 6 months. I mean, did you get a $400 blowjob at the hotel?
No, I didn't. But I had my eye out. I was, I was scoping.
Maybe at the ice rink the night before.
Yeah.
Well, I want to back up a second. Hold on here, because your wife put you in a hotel for the day.
Yeah.
if Michelle did that to me, I think she just wants me out of the goddamn house. So like, explain to me.
I agree with that.
What did she do?
She had her day a couple weeks ago. We do that every now and then. We just get one day away while the other one takes care of the kids in the house. The other one just goes off and has like a reset day, So it's nice. Yeah. But she usually goes to like some swanky place downtown, and I'm at like the Marriott by the arcade just so I can walk to the arcade,
Then you're back wats.
There's
Exactly.
video games in the Denny next door.
Yeah, that's all I need. Video games and a Denny's. I'm
She
set.
gives you a handful of quarters. Here you go.
Have fun, Kev. Yeah. You're exactly right. Yeah.
That's
Incredible.
awesome.
What incredible adventures. Like
True.
I said,
Go ask Amy after the show. Would you send me to a hotel for a day? I just want to hear her
hey,
answer.
just don't come back. Just, if you're going, just stay. Hambone, how about you, buddy? Have you ever got a nice getaway like this?
Yeah, absolutely. We
John, we're doing something wrong.
yeah, I was gonna say, like, I don't know, man. I think that's pretty normal.
Let me hear this story first.
I mean, it's not crazy stories or anything, but like my wife's every once in a while, hey, I think I'm gonna take a night to go kind of like Cooz, like you said, reset.
Yeah.
Relax, have some time to myself, not have to worry about day-to-day responsibilities, and just kind of veg out. Pack up the Switch,
That's right.
head to the hotel, and just kind of chill.
Probably rub one out and just with no pressure, and
yeah, there you go.
you don't have to worry about the work
That's
coming
it.
home, and you just try to sneak it in there. It's just you can.
Leave
That's right.
the hotel curtains open for the.
Yeah, that's it. Just the shears, just the
Yeah, that
blackout
way your
ones.
silhouette. That
yeah,
silhouette.
exactly.
Maybe
Yeah.
even shoot it right onto the window.
Oh man, it's hilarious.
Did you
I'm
guys ever?
so happy.
You ever bring a black light to a hotel room? Has anybody actually?
No,
done
why
that?
would you? Why would you
Why would
introduce
you-
that? You're gonna
why would
freak
you
out
wanna know?
immediately.
No.
Okay, wait.
Leave
bring
me
it.
in the dark.
I do have a black light. Bring it to the hotel, but don't use it till you're about to leave.
That's
And
worse.
then you
Then I have to shower again. It's like saying, would you want to go into like the kitchen of a restaurant you eat at? I know that shit happens in there. I don't want to know about. Just I want to eat the food, be out. It's just, I
Yeah.
don't want to know. Like, think
Yeah.
about it, John. You're
I
staying in
kinda-
a bed that someone probably had sets in the night before.
At least jerked off in.
At least
minimum.
100%. Maybe Hambone.
It might have been me. You don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you two guys have these beautiful weekend getaways alone. I think I'm pretty confident that Blanco here doesn't do it because I feel like I would have known about it, and I'm certainly that I don't do it. So, John, how's Denver doing? You get any snow yet?
I swear, every night. I mean, like Monday night, Wednesday night, Thursday night. I'm in my room from after dinner until like 8 o'clock, just playing games, whatever.
See,
I don't need it.
He gets every night.
I got older kids. They don't want to deal
That's
with
the
me.
key. John's
Yeah.
kids are older than ours, right? So
Yeah.
I think that's the key.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
hearing like getting away from the kids and relaxing. It's like when your kids get older, man, it's so easy.
It's the opposite.
You don't have to
You
deal with
need to
it.
go away so you can be with them
Yeah,
because they don't want to be with you.
yeah, exactly. My older son Cedric, we've been watching the Marvel movies in order.
Mm.
We're up to Captain America, and we're finishing up cooking, and the whole family's downstairs in the kitchen. It's nice. We're all chatting or whatever. And Cedric says, "We're gonna watch a movie tonight." And I said, "Okay, but you got to watch it upstairs because I'm recording, and I don't want you guys to overhear me talking to these three guys."
About masturbation and stuff.
Yeah, no, I was like, that's good. I turned the music up in the living room and everything. And I said, sure, I can watch upstairs. And he's like, we're gonna watch Captain America. And I'm like, the hell you are. You're not watching Captain America without me.
Yeah.
And he's like, fine or whatever. I'm gonna go to Elitch's. I was like, what? Elitch's is an amusement park near
That was a
downtown
big
Denver.
jump.
Yeah, and it was
It's
like, what are you talking about? And he's like, well, I'm gonna go to Elitch's with my friends for a few hours. And it's like, whoa, like, what the hell's going on? But he did. He is one of his friends' moms drove him, and he's gonna be there tonight. And then she's driving him back, and it's like dark out, and it's like, Jesus, when did this happen in my life that my kids are doing way more interesting things? And I'm recording a podcast.
Yeah, it was while you were holed up in your room playing video games every night, and all of a sudden they're like, Dad, we're going to Elitch's. Have
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah, I came out and they were all grown up.
Yeah, right.
Incredible.
Yeah, it's crazy. But like you'll find your kids will grow up and they'll have these different interests and they'll want to do things and you're going to feel like you're going to lose control a little bit. You are not, the movies they're watching are a little more sketchy and, sometimes they're going to hang out with friends you don't really like and they start doing things and you feel like you have lost that control a little bit. And it's not comfortable, but at the same time, it makes you proud too. So it's just,
I can see that.
It's both, but it's still kind of wild. Also, Sebastian has a deep voice now. It happened over the span of like a month. And it's like, cause he was, I forgot where he went, but he was doing a lot of yelling. And so the next day his voice was scratchy. And I said like, oh, well, you were yelling a lot. And like Michelle was there and she's like, yeah. And it never came back. Just,
were you like, Sebastian, stop being Batman? And he's just,
I know. It's so weird. I always joked about it when they were kids, like they're going to have a deep voice. And it's so weird. It's like, he just has a deeper voice now. It's just bizarre.
Puberty. That's what happens. Just
puberty. It's a hell of a drug. How about you, Drew?
Well, yeah, I haven't played video games in no lie like over a week. I've been to 3 work-related Christmas parties in 7 days. Incredible.
I mean, those had to have been way better than any video game.
True. So I'll be brief, but the first one I went to was like the president of my company threw for all management. And when I say this was the most incredible party I've ever been to, understatement. Like this is like what you see in the Christmas movies where when you walk in, they had like a full like a cappella chorus, like just singing Christmas music, like in their tuxedos and like the little old like pilgrimage knitted hats, whatever the fuck they're called. They had, I'm not even joking, it must have been a $250,000 party. It had.
How did we go from a cappella group to $250,000? Wait, what was in between though?
Yeah.
Ice sculptures, open bar for whatever you possibly could want. They had a sushi bar. They had lobster tails and lobster rolls. All sorts of like desserts and passwords. It was just absolutely over the top incredible.
Did you take the wife?
I did.
Good.
Yep. This was, it was formal dress. I forget what exactly they called it. So I went and I didn't wear a tuxedo, but I wore like a suit. But of course you have the assholes walking around like jeans and a polo shirt that just didn't understand the memo.
That'd be me.
That was party number 1. Party number 2 was I had to throw a party for all my employees. That was literally at a brewery where I just ordered a ton of food, and we do a dessert contest every year. And that
was just you getting drunk, putting a napkin over your head like a bonnet and singing, right?
Exactly. That was it. In front of my people. That was it. That was good. And then Sunday night, Amy's work had a Christmas party. Amy works for a small accounting firm, so it's not that many people. And recently the owner has decided that he wants to invest in restaurants. So what did he do? He bought a restaurant. I feel like just for the Christmas party so we could go to it. And yeah, we had it was nice, good food, but it's 5 hours long. This, out of all the work parties I went to, this was the longest. No, and it was 5 hours of just like sitting at a restaurant table, drinking and eating.
Oh, it was a sit-down party?
Yeah.
Terrible. Terrible idea.
Awful. The other two were just
5 hours.
mingle. 5 hours. I got there at 6:30. I didn't even leave till 11:30. And you know me, 11:30 is well past my bedtime.
Oh, yeah. You were yawning like 3 hours before then.
I'll tell you what, though. I was smart because we had like a long table kind of near the bar. And I was like, I need to sit in this seat, Amy. I don't care what you need to do, what you want. I'm sitting here. Because if you remember, what day was this? This was Saturday, actually. There was football on Saturday. And I was facing the bar, so I had 2 TVs, and I could just watch literally the whole football day. I remember when the 8:30 game was, or 8 o'clock game was starting. I'm like, well, watch the first half. Maybe I'll be in bed for the second. No, I was there until the game was over. But yeah, that's what you got to do this time of year.
Yeah, it is. That's it. You paid your dues.
Paid my dues. So that's it for me. Let's do a little wrap up, guys. John, we have some announcements before we go forward.
Yeah, we are gearing up for the Chubbies sign up.
Oh,
taking a look at you 3, and I think you might be wanting to sign up a little. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Hambone was funny last year. He was just like, I lost a 1/4 pound. It's like, yeah, that's good for you, Hambone.
I'm in this year, man. I'm going to do a whole big fit for 40 thing. I'm 40 in
All
August.
right.
I'm going to start the new year off right,
nice.
and we're gonna make
like
it happen.
So yeah, if you are interested in signing up for Chubbies, I'm gonna make a little room probably right now in a second, but I'm gonna make a little room, and just let me know if you're interested. I think we might use the same site as last time if everyone I'll find out what everyone wants to do, or we can make it a little bit more unofficial, but we'll still do the scale pictures because I think those were legendary. And yeah, we'll find a little format that works for everybody. I think we did 8 weeks last year. We'll see if we can make it a little bit more interesting. We need to think it through, but we're just doing signups right now. If you want to lose some weight.
Well, the scales were every day, right?
I know. I wish you could do like every
I think
other.
that was too much.
Once a week would be fine for me.
Yeah.
Or
I'm good
like
with that.
twice, once in the beginning and once at the end.
You're right, because we figured out the ones in the middle didn't even mean anything. It was
You're right.
You had to weigh in that day at the end,
Which was bullshit.
No, it wasn't bullshit.
It was bullshit. You wanted me to print a scale on vacation.
I did too. I took a scale everywhere I went. Like I had a scale in my backpack at all times.
Yeah, I mean, you're the
That's
competition. You got to do it.
ridiculous.
Middle of
That's
Walmart,
ridiculous.
you're just like, oh, sorry, hold on a minute.
Yeah, right.
No,
I
because
know.
you're gonna have we would have people that weighed themselves on the 5th day, and then they didn't weigh themselves anymore, and it's like then you'd win. You can't do that. You got to weigh yourself that day. That's the only
I think
way.
we need to figure out a better process for that, like the head-to-head. Maybe we don't have to do that. We do, something like that. I think we could work out a better process. I agree.
Yeah, weigh yourself every day. Maybe. Yeah, I don't know. We'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out.
I don't want to get too much into it.
Me too. But sign up.
All right, Manscaped time.
Santa baby. Season for a fresh cut is finally here with the sponsors of today's show, Manscaped. Leaders in below-the-waist grooming has just launched their 5th-generation lawnmower to help you avoid another silent night in the bedroom this year. Take care of your special snowflake with Manscaped and watch your South Pole shine like never before. Get the best stocking stuffer of all by going to manscaped.com and use the code NINDADS, NINDADS, for 20% off and free shipping. Mrs. Claus will be thanking you. All right, John, I'm ready. I'm prepared. I know you think I might not be, but I'm over-prepared. I made a little cheat sheet document, you might want to call it. I even shared it with you guys. It's
list?
ready to go.
Oh, that's right, the Excel.
It's pretty. It's color-coded. It's filled out everywhere. I'm ready to use it. I got it all filled out, and I'm ready to talk some video games here.
I didn't have a color printer, Drew.
Oh, I didn't print mine out. I have it, but I should have.
Oh,
That made so much. That would have been so much easier.
That's what I was going to do is print it, and I'm like, I don't have color. It's all going to be black and white, so it's going to be a waste.
Yeah, it's not worth it.
I know. But thank you anyways.
Before we get into the actual game of the year top 10 list, I just want to bring up the conversation a little bit and talk for a few minutes on what makes a game of the year, right? Because this has always been that reoccurring theme, and I think we've always focused on this show on what's game of the year for us, right? Us as an individual. We don't really look at it from the point of view of the gaming industry and has it revolutionized gaming or anything like that, right? You know, is it, and I'll just start it off by saying a few things that I think of when I think of it is that, you know, is it a game that I'm thinking about when I'm not playing it, right? Like, am I at work like, man, can't wait to get home to play this game? Or do I, you know, is it when I beat it, I'm like, man, I'm sad it's over, or I'm going to play that game again someday. When you beat it, you want to go, you know, 100% it or come back and, you know, do more things. You know, that's for me is what makes it a fun experience, right? But just food for thought. I wanted to see like that's what I had in my mind, and the play experience, right? Am I playing with family? Am I playing with my wife? Are we laughing? Are we giggling? Are we or is it just headphones on and I'm playing solo, right? So, but what about you guys? Like, what's your take on what makes a game, you know, the best of the best?
Yeah, when I think of these lists, I mean, obviously they're super biased. They're individuals' experiences with certain games. I think that I judge games by the fun. I liked everything you said. Like, is it in my head after I play it? Am I thinking about it? Am I going to come back and replay it 4, 5, 6 times, Blanco? Or is it just, I just think, did I have fun with this? There's a lot of styles that I'm not even going to play. Like, I didn't play Baldur's Gate. It's not going to be on my list, but it's, you know, a great game according to the industry. But, it's just to each his own. These lists are, so maybe some of these just put these games on somebody else's radar that's looking for a good game that maybe not maybe doesn't have that on their radar. So I don't know.
I like that's a good take as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think I agree 100% with what you guys are saying, right? There's a fun factor. There's, did the game make you feel something from like a story perspective, or did you connect with those characters? Was the gameplay super engaging? And different types of games are going to have, a highlight in each of those different categories. But absolutely, a game that I can't put down, that I've got to keep playing, or I'm always thinking about it. Is absolutely kind of what goes to my mind when I think about my game of the year. But I also, to your point, Cooz, I'm not going to play every game, whether I'm just not interested in it or don't have the time or whatever.
I've seen your trophy list, man. I think you played every game.
I played a lot of games. I will say I played a lot of games. Not every game, but a lot of games. But I love coming together, in groups like this, talking to you guys. Because we're all coming to the table. I'm sure we're going to have some overlap on some games, but I love hearing what you guys have to say about, what games hit you this year. And I think it's just like so fun. This is such a great time of year.
Agreed.
Yeah, I agree. This is the one time where objectivity doesn't matter, right? And I say it all the time. There's no such thing really as a good game or a bad game. Every game is really how much you enjoyed playing it. So, you see arguments all the time online with people saying, oh, that's my favorite game of all time. And somebody's like, what the hell's wrong with you? That game is bad. And it's like, look, you can understand, like, I did not enjoy that game. I don't know how that game can be your favorite game, right? There's people online that love Lake, and I can't figure out in my head what's wrong with them. But if that's their favorite game and they're being honest, then they love that game, because there's no such thing. Every game is something that somebody loves. And the great thing about these lists is they can be so different, and you can just tell the kind of games that people like and don't like. And one of my requirements for game of the year usually has to make me cry, because if a game is going to make me cry, that means it's got a story that I'm really connecting with. And this year's no different, right? But yeah, maybe you'll replay it a bunch of times. Maybe you won't. I'm looking at mine, and I know that I will be. But yeah, everyone's different, and I think that's what makes the list fun. It's like, I don't really care what Coozy's favorite game is. I'm actually more interested in his whole list to see what are the games that he ranks so highly. 1 or 2 or 3 doesn't really matter much to me, but that's what makes it interesting. And I want to see all the shitty games on Drew's list.
Yes, that's what I want to hear.
All right.
I will say this year, when I went back and looked at my little pretty Excel sheet from last year, like this year was hard. Like, I actually had a hard time narrowing down just 10 games, right? I would say a lot of games from last year, like, wouldn't even have made it onto my top 10. Like, that's how competitive I feel like my list was this year. But floor is yours, John. Lead us away.
Yeah, this was a good year. All right. So these are going to be our top 10 games. We're going to go through all of them. So user discretion, boys. Don't spend 20 minutes on each one. But we're going to go through all of them this year. These have to be games that came out in 2023, right? Mm-hmm. And we'll have a separate discussion for other games. They can be any system. And that's really it. They can be DLC. They can be remakes. They can be whatever. It's your list. You can do whatever you want. And we will start off with our number 10s. And we'll just rotate them. I'll kick us off. My number 10 favorite game of the year is Syriza and the Lost Demon, the Bayonetta game.
Okay.
Yeah, this one was a good one. It came out, I think, a bit like 6 months or so after Bayonetta 3, and it's the storybook one. Has some kind of pastel-y colors, and you play as Bayonetta with the left stick, and you play as the demon with the right stick. It is a mind fuck of a control system that I never fully got used to the entire game, but the game was never hard enough that it really drove me too crazy. It was my road trip game, actually. And yeah, I had a lot of fun with it. I thought the The story was really cute and the characters were really cute, and just a very unique, refreshing game. So I quite enjoyed it.
Have you ever played any games that use those twin stick controls? That game Brothers comes to mind for me.
Yep.
Yeah, did you play that?
Yeah, that's the
But
other.
similar to controls.
It's a Brothers-like.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah, no, it was very similar to that one. I think there's some other games where you can split Joy-Cons and you can play like that too, but yeah, it reminded me of that one. It was a little harder because it was more frenetic action. Brothers is more about solving puzzles and you can be a little slower. Syriza, there were some stressful times where you're trying to like get attacks in and you're using the different buttons on each side too. It takes a while. I never got 100% fully used to it.
My brain hurts just thinking about it.
Yeah, but it was a good time. It had a really nice way they told the story. All right, who
My
wants
backlog. I'm going to guess like all your all's lists are in my backlog.
All right, I'll go next. This game I can guarantee is not on anybody's list. And this is the game that keeps on giving. Of course, I'm talking about Disney Speedstorm coming in at number 10 hot. This was a game I was excited for, I'll be honest. I didn't expect it to catch on like it did. I will say that my kids kind of encouraged me a lot to, hey, Dad, pick up and play a few races, more than I would have maybe done myself. But I've locked onto it. I love the idea of how it releases new seasons every 60 or 90 days, whatever the hell it is. And the fact that how it, within the season, it releases like more objectives every 7 or 8 days. So it keeps you kind of looking into it, and it has that gotta catch 'em all type feel with the characters and upgrading the characters and collecting all their shards. So yeah, Disney Speedstorm.
Have you gotten all the shards for all the characters that have come out so far? Or
I
100% shards?
I don't have all 100% shards, but it's hard. I don't want to say it's pay to play because the way they rank it, it's fair. They do a good job, but if you want to like max out every character and get every character, you definitely have to pay. Which I may have put in like $20 in since I've started it, but that's it.
That's not bad.
No, it's not bad at all.
It's free, right? Free to play?
Well, isn't
or
this,
it was, or
I think it is now, right?
Is it? Oh, I didn't confuse it. Disney Dreamlight never became free, right?
I think it became free to play. Speedstorm. I think that one did.
Is free. I think it became free, and yes, it came out in April. It came or something like that, and became free sometime over the summer or fall. Yep, it is free now. And it's the same people that did Asphalt 9, I believe, who was kind of a big racing game hit.
Yeah, that was fun. Well, then, yeah, $20 is worth it. Then you got $20 worth out of it for sure.
Well, I paid for like when it first came out.
You got the
months. But I will say,
Founders Edition.
I got the Founders Edition, but let me tell you, it came with a lot of stuff as well when you got it. But
a lot of shards.
So that's it.
I want to get a sign that says "Please wrap up," like from the Game Awards, and just hold it here,
like the timer.
Oh, nice. All right, I'll chime in here for my number 10. My 10th favorite game of the year was Hogwarts Legacy.
Whoa, 10?
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
10.
I'm telling you, he's played every single game.
I played a lot of good games. I mean, I'm sure it'll show up on some of your other guys' lists here, but I had a great time. Greg Johnson, MVP, best character creator ever made, best shirt ever made as well. Yeah, great story, super fun. I 100%ed this thing. I did not go blind. But yeah,
That's a win.
This game is what made me get the Edge controller, the Pro controller, because you have to do that Revelio spell to find all the pages, and you have to continually take your finger off the joystick to hit the up button for Revelio. And I was like, screw this. I'm getting a mappable, a programmable button for the back. So that's what I just did. And I was just Revelioing my face off with the back button.
So you bought a $200 controller so you can use Revelio.
Yes. I
love it.
Continue to use the controller, but yes, it was awesome.
They should have marketed that controller that way. Love Hogwarts Legacy.
Yeah. All right, Cooz, how about you, man?
My number 10 is Vampire Survivors. That came out on the Switch this year. I think it might have been on other consoles another year, but I didn't play that game until you all came out here.
Mm-hmm.
And we
That was
played
fun.
the multiplayer, and then I fired it up on my own and I was hooked on it for about a week straight, and I had to set my Switch down. I was dreaming about it. It was one of those things that was stuck in my head. I couldn't get out, and I was like, nothing good can come from this if I keep playing it. And I did the 30-minute run, and then after that, I'm like, that's what I wanted to complete.
All right.
It's 30 minutes, so I'm good there. I had to turn it off. I could probably go back to it, but yeah, that's. I had to set that down.
It's a tough one.
That's a
There's
great game.
other runs besides the 30-minute. I thought the 30-minute was all that it was.
No,
I told
No, there's
Hambone, I was like, I made it 30
it's-
minutes and something happened. He was like, oh, that's just the start. And I'm like,
Yeah, that's-
piss on that,
Yeah.
man.
You
Yeah,
gotta
the Grim
play
Reaper
through-
comes. You have to do a certain thing with two different power ups and level them up. And there's a
find
way to beat
certain
that guy.
tombs and stuff. Yeah. Oh yeah, it's. there's
I
a
will
lot.
say, I love the music that plays during the runs. I don't know. It's just like in my head right now. It's so
Yeah.
awesome.
Wow.
Nice.
All right. We're up to number 9. My number 9 is a game I played quite recently, and I've spent my entire gaming life identifying as someone who has never played Super Mario RPG, and I've done it. I'm so excited that I've finally played it. I lived through the years of demanding that Gino be in Smash Brothers, and I know what the game is, and I thought the remake was really good. It certainly, I think I told a lot of you guys, but it felt like an old game. It felt like it was so. You know what it is? It just put you right in the action, and you were just doing fights almost right away. And it was like, no, I'm used to like 2 hours of storytelling before I do anything, But that's what made it so nice. Was it was just quick and concise. The fights were quick, and I quite enjoyed it. I got a little bit stuck in a couple of places, but that's fine. I had to look up a couple of things. The same place that tripped up Jesse. When you have to go to that, you have to go to Monster
It was
Town.
like the desert area.
Yeah, like you had to go to Monster Town. You had to follow the ant, but you have to do it like 4 times. And then after a few times, you see a path, and you're like, oh, I got to go here. And I was like, where am I going? And it was just really weird. But overall, I loved it. It paced well. It wasn't that long. So it was fantastic, and I'm happy it's all done. I actually wouldn't mind playing the original down the road. Just I want to see the differences.
How would you do that to yourself if you have that one?
Because I'm curious about what's different about it. This one had like the triple attacks, which weren't in the game, and it had auto saving that is not in the original game every screen. So like dying in this game never felt
was
terrible. It probably feels more horrendous in the original game. I can see myself getting frustrated.
I just don't think I died in that game.
It got
Maybe once or
easier.
twice. Yeah,
It got
and-
easier later in the
said
game.
you didn't use Peach. Like as soon as I got her, she was in my party constantly.
Oh yeah, I didn't use Peach till like very
Got
close
it.
to the end.
She's the healer.
Yeah, no, I mean
Cooz, you're
you're
like
right.
a blank stare. Did you not play Mario RPG?
That game is on my backlog.
They're all on your
Is
backlog.
that going to be a recurring theme today?
100%.
Too busy at hotels getting waxes.
That's right, buddy. Yeah. I think it's funny how you were like, yeah, this game felt dated. I think I might go back and play the original.
Yeah.
Like,
No, I'm not saying that in a negative way. I'm just saying you
Sure,
can
sure.
feel that it's an older game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love the game. It's number 9 on my list, but like
yeah.
it's funny how games made today they just have a different feel than games
They
made
do.
25 years ago or whatever. So,
Yeah, they sure do.
all right, who's going next?
So this game, this was debatable if it was on my list or not, because this is the only game on the list that I have not completed yet. And of course, I have to talk about a top 10 list with Luna. And no, we're not talking about Smarter Than a Fifth Grader, John. We're talking about, of course, Avatar.
I already know what we're talking about.
Pandora. I've not played this game as nearly as much as I want to, but I feel like a big boy. I feel like, I get the pants on and I'm in the relationship and I'm dominating this. Like, this is a game that it feels great. I mean, the graphics seem like, for me, mind blowing, right? Because I'm not used to I guess, it's funny because when I play games like this, and it's not often, what really sticks out to me is really, I think, like the depth of a game, right? When you're in an environment, Nintendo games don't really have that depth, I feel like. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
Yeah.
You sound like
Yeah.
someone interested in cheating some more. That's what you sound like right
No,
now.
no,
Yeah.
but I'm having a lot of fun with this. I will say the controllers for a while took me a real while to get used to because they're the opposite of the Switch controllers. And I know you guys are about, what do you call like the trigger that has like you have to records like how hard you press it?
Analog trigger.
Yeah, so Luna has that. I didn't know that. Um,
Ooh.
and there's some things in Avatar that require you to do that. So, oh, this is cool.
Yeah.
But overall, yeah, I'm loving the game. The controllers are great. It makes you feel like, even when you're running through the jungle, it has that feel of like you're a Navi, and you're jumping, and you're kind of like not just human like. It has this little bit of weirdness, superpower to it, which a lot of fun. So Avatar, I'm gonna keep playing it. I'm excited for the holidays. I have a lot of time off. I'll be playing it even more, and we'll see what happens.
I heard a guy talking about it today because I like Avatar. I'm an Avatar fan.
Mhm.
He compared it to like the controls and everything to a Far Cry game. It's
Mhm.
basically the Avatar version of a Far Cry game. I've never played a Far Cry game
Me
either.
neither.
It's on my backlog. But I'm thinking if I go that route, I think I'd rather do the Avatar than the Far
Yeah.
Cry.
Yeah, agreed.
Cool. All right. I guess I'll go here. My number 9 game this year is Synapse. This is a PS VR2 exclusive. My favorite PS VR game from the year. Um, Obviously, yeah, first person kind of perspective, shooter. What was really unique about this game is when you're going through and doing a run, all like the environment is grayscale, but the things you can interact with have this like almost like rainbow glow to it. So it was really, really interesting going through and seeing like, oh, okay, like I can pick up this block, or oh, there's an enemy over there, and kind of seeing it visually was really interesting. Super fun. It starts out as a shooter, pretty basic, but you quickly find out there's this awesome skill tree where you end up getting like these superpowers. You can start manipulating the environment with your left hand. You can eventually level up where you can actually grab enemies and like throw them off ledges while you're shooting another enemy. The sound design in this game is really cool. There's only like 5 or 6 different types of enemies, like your random, like your standard kind of soldier guys, the big brute looking guys, some guys that fly. But one of my favorite enemies were these like kamikaze dudes that you could just hear. Their steps are super heavy, and you can hear them. You're like, where are they coming from? Behind me, in front of me? What's going on? But you just hear them, do-do-do-do-do-do. And sometimes you'll hear like a bunch of them coming at you, and they're all charging. And you can't let them get close, or else they'll like blow up in your face and do a lot of damage. But awesome roguelike type game, really cool story. Highly recommend if you've got a PSVR 2. That's Synapse.
Nice. Let's look it up.
So far, you're 2 for 2 on platinums.
You looking this up as we go.
There's a trend.
Yeah. My number 9 is Hi-Fi Rush, the only game that I played on Xbox this year, and then I sold my Xbox and stopped my subscription to Game Pass. Last year when we did this show, I said the biggest disappointment of the year was Xbox because they didn't have any releases. I'm going to probably repeat that this year. They had a few more releases this year, but they were just a big disappointment to me. But yeah, Hi-Fi Rush, you guys know what it is. It's very colorful, very rhythmic, it's super fun. The only downside about it is it gets a little repetitive. You kind of do the same things over and over again. But other than that, it's super fun game.
Yeah, I've been saying I think Hi-Fi Rush was Xbox's best game of the year. It did get a little repetitive, but I mean the graphical style and the animation and the story and the characters were all great.
Is it like, I'm looking at some screenshots. Is it like a beat 'em up?
It's
Or not?
Yeah, it's like a rhythmic beat 'em up.
Okay.
Yep. Love the cat. I love Peppermint.
Yeah,
I love all the
Peppermint.
characters.
Yeah, Peppermint.
All right. Is that everybody? That's all 9?
Mhm.
All right. My number 8 is Hogwarts Legacy. Comes in a little bit higher than Hambone had. This was, I think, one of the first games of the year that I played or whatever. Sports Story is not on the list. Yeah, it was fantastic. In fact, part of we'll talk about Kevin's video later, but you can hear me basically saying that I can't find anything wrong with the damn game. That was true early on. I feel like the world might have been a little too big, but oh my god, it was such a magical feeling to be in the castle and to do the spells and all of that. It's such a cozy game. It's a good winter game as well, which I think is when it came out. But like people always say the Harry Potter movies are like Christmas movies because they're always like during the Christmas season. But it's true, and I always wanted to play through the game with all 4 schools. I don't know if I'll do that because I think it might be too long of a game to do 4 times for all the schools.
You don't need to. It's not that different.
I really thought that the quests were going to be like totally different. Yeah. But it was a fantastic game. Ended up a little low on my list. First of all, because it blinded me. And secondly, yeah, they packed it up with a lot of little fetch quests and things like that. But the real magic of the game is Hogsmeade and the castle and the mainline quests and those like side quests that were, one after another, where you're dealing with one particular character and you're hearing a story.
Yeah, those are really good.
So it was fantastic, wrapped up well and everything. And I'm looking forward to seeing if they put out some new content for it or DLC. I don't know what I'm kind of hoping for, but I hope they do put out something else because I wouldn't mind playing through this game again. Just pick a different school and just play it and then do some DLC or whatever. I'm game. Let's do it.
Do it up.
Do it.
All right, my number 8 game is the most anticipated game of my career. Dwarf! this game, I don't know why or what it was. This cute little blue-haired dwarf guy just sold me from the minute I saw him. Small little studio, and I loved the uniqueness of it. I mean, let's be honest, when Mobile Demon first came out, like the go-to mobile game for me at least was always like tower defense, right? We all played like Bloons and all these other fun games. And I think ever since then, I just had this love for tower defense games. But then when you get into like handheld actual video games, there's so much better options that you don't really want to just sit there and play a tower defense game, right? Because it's kind of one of those, you put it down and you wait a little bit and you react to it. But Dwarf did this really cool job with like combining this action adventure beat 'em up with a tower defense. And the story was nothing special, but it was fun. The art style was great. I liked the type of like this pixelated or HD pixelated type art style. And I absolutely loved it. And the reason it's not lower or higher on my list, I guess you could say, is that I think I mentioned this in one of the episodes. Towards the end of the game, it just overstayed its welcome a little bit. It got to be too much of the same thing and a little too repetitive. But if that game shrunk by like 2 or 3 hours, it would have been probably maybe around number 5. That's how much I really loved this game. So Dwarf, I recommend it if you like these types of games. It's pretty unique style. Check it out. Met my expectation that I've been hyped for so long.
How did you hear about that game? I usually hear about all the games. I'd never heard about Dwarf till you were like, Dwarf!
I have like, I follow, it's called like shittyswitchgames.com. Now,
okay.
It's one of those things that legit, I think, came across a feed somewhere. And I was like, this looks cool. And I just kind of went down a rabbit hole. And if you go to their website, it's actually like a really nice website that like explains the characters and all the different turrets you can get and stuff like that. And then I was just kept an eye on it. I added it to my wish list as it was on the Switch. And then I did off to the wish list. And then I had like my Excel document that I keep with like games coming out this year. So I just always had an eye on it.
Okay.
And that was it. So once I was locked in, I was locked in.
Nice.
Awesome. All right, my number 8 game is Final Fantasy 16.
Ooh.
This was long-awaited game, right, on PlayStation, PS exclusive this year. Super fun. A lot of talk out there that is this really a Final Fantasy game? It's not turn-based, it's more of an action game, and it is, but who cares? They still call it Final Fantasy 16, and it freaking rocks. Awesome music, amazing story. To be fair, I didn't love the combat. It was serviceable, but wasn't my favorite of the year. But really, this is a super awesome story heavy game. John, you will cry. It will happen.
Yeah.
Really, really good game. Very excited to get into the DLC. I haven't quite yet. But yeah, some of my favorite moments in this game really are tied to some really amazing music that they composed. Like some of the different bosses, like you fight Titan, for instance, in one of the boss fights, and there's this like really like rock soundtrack that's playing, and it's in your face and it's intense. And then there's another boss battle for somebody who's a little bit more, more of like a noble royalty type of character, and it's like a classical soundtrack. So they really matched it up where it's just completely amazing. Really cool story, really interesting world. Yeah, I can't say enough good things about Final Fantasy 16. One of my favorites.
We lost Drew.
And we lost Drew.
Go ahead, Kevin.
All right. My number 8 is Synapse. Due to Hambone Johnny's suggestion. He told me about this game. I saw it on, I think it was like a PlayStation. What do they call their?
Oh God. State of Play or something like that.
Yeah. I think I saw it on a State of Play, and I was like, that looks a little too intense for me. And then I recently played Viewfinder, and I had some like motion sickness with that, and I usually don't get that with VR. And Hambone was like, you gotta try this game, Synapse. So he talked all about it. The only thing I have to say, I'd never played like a roguelike VR game, especially in the first person. So that's what makes it really cool. It kind of reminds me of, oh gosh, what is that game? Let me look. Deathloop. It kind of reminds me of Deathloop.
Oh, cool.
But in VR mode. So yeah, it's super fun. I mean, I've only played it probably about 2 hours now, but it made my list at number 8. It's going to move higher because I keep thinking about it. Like Drew said, it's one of those things, one of those games that kind of sticks in your head. So, which is weird because it's Synapse and you're in somebody's mind and all this. So it's in my mind, and I'm going to keep playing it. I'm going to finish it. It's exciting. So I usually don't do roguelikes. I don't like the repetitive loop of those, but this is it's kind of got me hooked.
Nice.
Can you bring your like VR system? No, you need the PS5 with the PSVR too, right?
You do.
Like I say, you could bring it to the next hotel room night that you have.
Yeah, I'll just bring the PS5 with it. That's what I did. I took the PS5 and the VR to the hotel on Saturday and played Synapse.
It's awesome.
Nice. Yeah.
Is there some value to a right? I know my reasons for playing like any kind of roguelike. Is there maybe something with VR and roguelike? Because you mentioned saying I've never played a roguelike VR game. I'm just wondering is there some different experience there? I wonder, because you're more physical, you're moving around more, and maybe you don't play as often. So having a roguelike, the session ends and you don't have to like remember where you were or whatever as much.
Maybe, I don't know. What do you think, Hambone?
Yeah, I think the runs, once you get through the whole thing, it's about 40 to 45 minutes for a full run. So I think that's a pretty good time frame, especially in the beginning. You're not going to be doing that, maybe 10, 15 minutes tops before you get kind of be in and out there. But yeah, I don't know. I think what's special about this one is really the skill tree. And really the progression that you feel as you go through the game. You feel, when you get a power up, you feel more powerful. You feel like you can get a little bit farther. That behemoth guy you couldn't take down. Oh, I got a rocket launcher now. I know I can get this guy. That type of thing. So they did a really good job with that.
Cool. Well, I made both your lists. All right, Drew, you're back. We are up to number 7.
Is it on me?
Yeah, go for it.
Oh, hold on.
All right, I'll go. My number 7 is Dredge. Yay!
I want to play that one.
Dredge was like one of those games where everyone just started talking about it and playing it, and I was like, "Oh, it's a fishing game." I don't really like fishing, so I probably won't even like it. I tried out the demo, and I was like, "Yep, that's a fishing game." Okay, and then I accidentally bought it on PlayStation, and I was like, "All right, I'll just play the freaking game," and so I did. And I don't know if I would define it as like a cozy game, but it was such a chill, relaxing game to play. You can just decide, hey, for the next 15 minutes, I'm just going to go catch some fish and then go back and sell them, and then catch some fish and go back and sell them. Or maybe I'm going to go dredge up some stuff. There was so many different ways to sort of like micro play it and have fun with it. There were times when I would just look to dredge up materials, and so I could get myself way ahead in some of the upgrades and then store a bunch of items. And then when those upgrades unlocked and then unlock the next thing, I would just go into my stash and be like, boom, 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 and I have the next thing. And then, some nights you're like, oh, I'm going to go venture out and go to this new area I haven't been to before, and that sort of thing. You never got to an area that felt like overwhelming, where a lot of games are like that, where you don't want to go somewhere because you feel like, oh, I don't know any of these enemies and it's going to be problematic. No, everywhere you went was just a cool, fun place to be. It was just super chill. I loved doing all the different quests, even when it was taking me forever to find a certain fish. I just had a fun time. I was like, I haven't found the fish yet that I'm looking for, but I found a bunch and I've made a bunch of money and I'm feeling good about myself. And I loved it. It didn't overstay its welcome. I didn't get the good ending, and I couldn't. There's a way to recover. The good ending and the bad ending are not based on game choices. It's just something that happens at the end. But it's autosave, and you only have one save file. So I got the bad ending, and then I spent like 5 minutes trying to finish up some other quests, and then I was like, okay. And then I put it to bed. And the next morning, I was like, oh, I'm going to go get the good ending. But because the game had saved, I could no longer rewind.
Boo.
But
that's a bummer.
It's fine. I look forward at some point in 2025. I'm going to just play it again and go for the good ending.
Planning ahead.
And then I'm going to do the Pale Reach DLC, which I didn't do. And so yeah, I'll just play it again. It was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. So that's my number 7.
That's really cool. That makes me think, like, because you tried the demo and you're like, it's fine, but not until you accidentally bought it did you actually give it a true shot. So it makes me think, like, how many games have I passed over because of the demo that, if I had accidentally bought, would have made my top 10 list. That's really cool.
But that's fair, right? There's so many games. You're going to pass over games. There's going to be games you don't play, because there's just other games that are going to distract you. So yeah, there's probably tons of games you've skipped, Coozy, that were good, but it's okay because there's 1,000 games on your backlog right now.
That's right.
Yeah.
Dredge is one of them.
I'll tell you what, it has a little bit of interest towards me. It's on a list. I'm not saying it's a backlog, but if there's like, I got nothing to play, I might.
It's good.
I'd give it a go.
It's good. I played it too. It's definitely a good game.
Nice. My number 7 was another game I was looking forward to and pumped when it was announced. Moving Out 2. This game and this series is just so much fun. This is that Amy and I have just adapted to it. I know a lot of people love playing Overcooked with their family. For whatever reason, Moving Out works better for us. It just clicked better. It was just more fun, more laughs, more yelling at each other, more giggling over the characters that you can unlock. The 3 stars and the collectibles and other little adventures you have to do. It's just such a fun game. I love it. It's just, I wish there was more to it. I mean, I'm a person that was trying to beat the game. We don't usually go back and play it again, especially after getting all the stars and everything, but ton of fun. Can't recommend Moving Out 2. If you love any game like Overcooked or couch co-op games, this is essentially a moving company called Fart. I mean, that's the name of the company, and you're just moving stuff. So a lot of fun. Moving Out 2, couldn't be happier.
My kids love that game. My wife prefers Overcooked. She doesn't like Moving Out, but my kids like Moving Out. I play both with whoever will play, but yeah, it's I like that they added like the moving in on this version
too.
From the old one.
The moving in is fun. Overcooked,
it's a good one.
For whatever reason, I don't know if it's just too hard. It's too frantic. It's too stressful. Where Moving Out it's frantic at times because there's time limits and you can't break vases and stuff. But at the end of the day, it's just like moving the shit in and out. Overcooked is just like bam, 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 bam.
You're burning shit and like the people are getting.
I'm waiting on you to chop the onion so I can cook it and then hand it back to you. But in Moving Out, it's like you grab that couch, I'll grab that chair. Let's go.
Yeah, like you
Yeah.
have to throw it across a platform, and then the platform moves, so you have to wait 20 seconds for it to move back just so you can get a plate. And it's like, it's too much, too stressful for me.
I can't wait for Overcooked 3. I think we're going to get that in
I'll give it a try.
2025.
Awesome. All right.
All right, Hambone.
Yeah, number 7 for me. Cyberpunk 2077 Phantom Liberty.
Yeah. Wow.
This
Oh,
is
the DLC specifically.
specifically the DLC. Got to call it out here. Releasing in September along the 2.0 patch for Cyberpunk. Really have been digging into it over the last, I'd say, month or so. But playing this DLC, it's sort of like it's set in this place called Dogtown, which is like a subsection of the larger city where Cyberpunk's set in. But it's walled off. Like you can't get to it unless you have the DLC, which makes sense, right? But once you get into Dogtown, it's this little kind of microcosm of just all the craziest shit you can ever imagine. Like there's just like crap on the streets, fucking people doing drugs, like just crazy shits happen. And the story you do there, like you end up saving the president, but then there's this like espionage thing that you go on. You don't know who to trust. John's there. He's trying to bang Idris Elba. It's like, it's wild. But yeah, super fun game. Raises the level cap in Cyberpunk, so you get a little bit stronger when you go back to the main game too, which is pretty fun.
Nice.
But yeah, this story for this DLC really kind of just hit it out of the park and was amazing. I'm so glad that I kind of went in and picked the DLC up while I was playing the main game and not afterwards. It really kind of added to the overall experience there.
Was this a free DLC or the purchase?
No, it was purchased. I think it was $30.
I respect that.
Yeah.
I think free DLC is probably the dumbest thing a company can do.
Whoa.
Yeah.
We love free
It is
DLC.
Well, from
Let's
a
not
company
dissuade
perspective,
them.
I get it.
It's dumb. Like, why?
But
why just give out free content? I
Yeah,
don't
you
get
know
it.
what? I mean, they're stretching the life of this game out, right? You could pick up Cyberpunk. I mean, back a couple years ago, you can get a copy for like $10 or whatever, like something stupid. But
They really cut it.
But now they're selling basically the base game and the DLC for like $55 or $60. So it's basically the price of a new game, maybe a little bit cheaper. But you get kind of a game and a half with it. So I've got 65 hours in Cyberpunk, still not done. Great game.
Wow.
I think there's a line there, like free DLC for a game if it's been out 2 years and not been updated in 2 years. Here's something free to maybe get you back in it. But the paid DLC, if the game's still relevant, Cyberpunk's been out a while, but I know it was glitchy at first, and then they finally patched it up. When did you start playing? Have you been playing it a while?
No, I haven't touched it at all. So I got in there with the 2.0 patch in September. So
Okay,
Sort of
with the
nice.
DLC altogether. Yeah.
yeah, well, I actually started it to make sure I would like it. And then a couple weeks into it, I'm like, you know what? I think this is worth it. I'm going to get the DLC. So I was
There you
maybe
go.
15, 20 hours into the story, and then I picked up the DLC.
Always
Just had a
smart
little taste
not
of
to buy the
good
DLC.
stuff and had to dip back in for the DLC. You sent us a message about riding in a tank and having sex with a woman in the tank. Is that a
Incredible.
spoiler?
No, it's fine. Yeah,
Okay.
she's
Is that,
amazing.
is that the DLC or the
it
base
was not.
game?
It was the base game. It was the base game.
Oh,
all the
man.
I was
amazing
about to
sex
say, I would
scenes are
pay the $30 for the DLC.
Nah,
if it
just
involved.
you can pay the $25 and get the base game and have plenty of sex in tanks.
All right.
It's amazing.
Cool.
You're gonna love this world. Sets in video games, selected the size
Yeah.
of your dong.
Yeah.
I mean, what is
Right.
the world?
And what was
Imagine-
hilarious when I beat the DLC, for whatever reason, I don't know if this was a glitch or whatever, but like all my clothes came off, and this is a dong friendly video game, I guess I'll call it. So like you're watching this cutscene, it's like kind of emotional, whatever, and then you see my character walk out, fucking butt out naked, just walking into town. Like people were walking by, not checking. I'm like, this is just a normal occurrence here. So I was like, I don't know if this is like the emotions they're trying to evoke from me right now at this point in time, but I'm fucking dying right now. It was amazing.
That's great. That's great. I love stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's what makes video
So
games
cool.
worth it.
All right, Cooz, how about your number 7?
My number 7 is Suika game, the watermelon game. John, have you played it yet?
Oh no.
I didn't
What?
think you had.
It's
I don't
free.
think you will. Yeah. I think it's like $2 or something, isn't it, Hambone?
Well, it was free this
Is it
weekend.
free? Oh, it's free to
Yes.
play for the weekend. Yeah. Yeah. But I knew John wasn't going to do that because he was making too much fun of it for being a $2 game for free. But it was It's great. I mean, it's addictive, right, guys? I mean, it's
Oh my
you keep
God.
coming back
It
to it,
is.
trying to get the watermelon, and it's just a little puzzle game to play on the pisser when you're sitting down.
Awesome
It was
game.
a great game to be on my phone for when I was in Disney. Like you're in line. Let me play
Yeah.
that's when my height of my watermelon game came in.
Yep.
Have you gotten
Yep.
2 watermelons yet?
I've never done two.
I
I've
have not
gotten
either.
real close.
Yeah, me too.
Is it possible? I don't
There's
think they
not
just put
that
on the
much
screen.
room in
Yeah,
that
really,
little
I
tank.
You
for
have
that.
to get the right drops just to make it perfect. Yeah, I've
So
gotten
what
Big
happens?
Melon and I've gotten Watermelon.
Do they just disappear and you have like a whole empty board?
I
If
don't
if
know.
you get 2 watermelons,
It's a magic
Yeah.
mystery.
I think they just say you win and refund your $2 back.
Is it possible?
Yeah,
Can
oh
we
yeah, I've
confirm?
heard people do it. Apparently they disappear or something. I don't know. You
Wow.
keep playing. Who knows?
Yeah.
But
$2 though, it's worth
Shit.
a shot. Especially if you like puzzle games and just little games to pass the time.
Yeah.
Go for it.
Like
And you know,
Tetris
I've seen a lot of
with
people
balls.
play it. I saw you do the video for the cat game,
Yeah.
Hambone, and it showed your home screen on your Switch, and there was the watermelon game and like ball busters and like some other cool games, you know. So yeah, I feel like a lot of people are playing it.
yeah, man.
4 million copies, didn't it sell? And that was before the demo. Who knows what it's at now?
They probably got some more sales.
Yeah.
Man, this show, when we talked about a couple of watermelons, it wasn't usually about Suika Game. Really changed. We've really evolved.
lost our touch, huh?
I actually was waiting for somebody to mention that game, and I suspect it might end up on someone else's list. We shall see.
Listen, there's hope that it's top 5 for Hambone.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like
He's laughing.
Cyberpunk, and then Suika Game is above it.
Yes.
Above Cyberpunk. I can't wait to hear it.
My number 6 took me a little while to play it after it came out because my wife hogged it for a long time. Is Pikmin 4. I've always been a fan of the Pikmin series. I'm not hardcore with it, but I enjoy it as like kind of a chill game. And Pikmin 4 is great because there's just so many things to sort of do. And the worlds were all, I don't know, the way to describe Pikmin is like you're in this big grassy knoll and there's just so much shit everywhere. And there's some things where you're like, how the hell am I going to get that orange? And then you just sort of eventually figure it out, you know, and you walk by it and you're like, oh, let me throw some guys up there. I just love the way it evolves and spreads out. And then this game had the underground stuff that was going on, which was weird because it felt like time would freeze
Mhm.
and you didn't really have the time pressure. You can do unlimited days. I'm not quite sure what I feel about that yet. I think I actually did like a bit of the time pressure, but I totally understand why they didn't do it in this game. And I love the big Olimer quest. That was like a whole
Mhm.
little roguelike version inside the
Yeah.
game. That was a lot of fun.
DLC?
Yeah. I ended up doing everything in the game. I did not think once I roll credits, I think I'll probably stop. And then I just couldn't stop. I just kept going and going and going. It was
Rolling credits of that game.
Yeah, it rolls pretty
Yeah.
early.
it had like a Mario
Pretty good.
Odyssey vibe with
Yeah.
that. There's like you definitely got to keep playing.
Mhm.
And it was a blast. And then just trying to 100% things and seeing the little percentage counter going up every single day. And I loved it. I might be my favorite Pikmin. I did get a little annoyed talking to all these characters, and you have to like, which one is the freaking character I had to talk to for this quest? And there was so many people at some point. I was like, kind of going insane. But I think this is probably my favorite. No, I don't know. Pikmin 3 is really good. I like the format of all of them, but this one's fantastic. Definitely one of the best games I played this year.
Nice. My number 6 game is Kirby Return to Dreamland, because this game was fantastic, and this game was a game I played with the entire family. Never played this game without all 4 of us together, so we played through the entire thing. A lot of fun. This was also a pretty big monthly Mayhem game, which made me play it even more, and it got to be super competitive. I remember the little amusement park area where you could go do all the different mini games that were loads of fun, perfect for high scores and things like that. And then you have the collectibles, even in that, right? So even after we beat the game, we try to collect all the different masks and stuff like that. So this was just another great family game, and I think we talked about what makes game of the year for for us in particular. This is one of it. The memories of as a family trying to play through levels and collect everything, and as you guys all know, when you play with kids, it's always let them get whatever power up they want, and you always get stuck with the shit tornado or whatever whatever it is. But it's part of it. It's part of the fun because you end up playing games maybe the way you wouldn't have played them, right? You want the sword or you want the fight, you want the easy good stuff. But yeah, you know what? I'm going to try these ones that I never would have used because let them have it. So a lot of fun. Kirby Return to Dreamland, definitely on my top list.
Sweet. All right, my number 6 is Super Mario Brothers Wonder.
Oh man, I just got a chubby.
Yeah, Wonder, guys. I mean, obviously, I think we all played this one. Awesome game. What's not to like with Mario? I'm sure I clearly have this probably lowest on the list of everybody. But yeah, it was awesome. I think I wouldn't say it's low on my list, right? It's one of my favorite games of the year. I just don't think it didn't grab me as much as I think I wanted it to. This wasn't a game where like I got to go back and play more. I played this a couple levels at a time. Got my fill, put it down, went back a couple days later and did it for a while there. It took me a long time to beat this one. Definitely loved it. Just for whatever it was, didn't hit as hard as I maybe was hoping it to.
Let me ask the question, Hambone, and hopefully this doesn't go down a rabbit hole. And if it does, maybe that's okay. But is the Mario formula just dead? Like, have we just seen it too many times?
Maybe that's, I don't know. I
mean,
don't think you can't have too much of a good thing.
I agreed, and I'm just talking out loud here. Like, but is that part of it? Was it like, were you expecting with this whole wonder thing and something like it? Was it? But at the end of the day, it was still play the level, collect the 3 items.
Yeah,
like,
that's kind of what it was for me. It was different, but it wasn't different enough where I'm like, whoa, this is revolutionary. Like, I like that they play with the perspective on some of the wonder seeds. That was kind of like my favorite when I went to that top down stuff. I didn't love the power-ups, to be honest with you. I think as cool as the elephant is, I think it's kind of dumb.
The drill kind of was weak. The
yeah,
bubble was weird. But
I think the bubble was really cool from like from a platforming perspective. I think there's a lot of cool stuff I've seen people do with that.
They didn't use it that
whatnot.
much. They didn't really introduce the bubble that much. It was all elephant.
I don't want to bash it, right? It's my number 6 on my list, right? So it's an awesome game.
Higher for me. So.
But yeah. I don't know. Maybe you're onto something there, Drew. It's just not. Maybe 3D Mario is kind of where my heart is these days. I think that might just be it.
And you got to think too. You're looking at it from a late 30s, early 40s man's point of view. A lot of kids, this is their first introduction to Mario.
Absolutely.
My daughter, this is like the first Mario she's really dove into and loves it. So as far as
for sure,
is that a part? What would you say is the Mario
formula?
Yeah. I mean, it's brand new to some people.
Good point.
So you never know.
Mario is still the face of Nintendo, so they're doing something right.
Yep, agreed.
I like the wonder stuff. I mean, I think you, Hambone, have become a gamer. You like to get lost in these bigger worlds with quests and things, and this is just a level by level.
Which, nothing wrong with it. Still great.
Yeah. Nope.
Just maybe just not my style as much as it maybe used to be.
Yeah.
Cool. My number 6, I think you played this one, John, is Humanity.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
It was it free on PS Plus? Not free, but it was with your paid subscription to PS Plus? Maybe?
Free on PS Plus. Day one, too. That was one of the day one titles.
In this game, you're basically leading hordes of people. You're a spiritual dog. You're leading hordes of people from one end of the stage to another by different various ways of moving them around. It's a puzzle game, super addictive. This is another one that's been in my head. I also played it in VR, John.
I was going to ask, VR was cool. VR is pretty cool.
VR adds a whole new level to seeing it and being able to get in there and be the damn dog, and lead the people.
Is it first person in VR, or you're above everything?
You're above everything, and you can kind of shift the perspective and look around and get really close to certain areas and really kind of pinpoint where you're going to put the directional things.
It's just kind of
fun VR
easier
game.
to see,
Yeah.
I feel like, than with the camera.
It was a
great
fun game. I really enjoyed it until it became too taxing, and then I was like not having fun. I was actually the opposite of relaxing. I was like using my
could see
brain too
that.
much, and I had to just stop because I was like, I don't want to do this now.
I could
Yeah,
But it's
see how
I
it
can
could get
definitely
kind of
see
crazy.
that happening.
Yeah, I played
It's
through
very
through the
zen, though.
first world, and it was super zen. Like, oh, this is not that hard, but I can imagine how crazy it could get.
Yeah.
It gets crazy, yeah. But it's still, if you just lead the people around and let them fall off, there's no repercussions to
Yeah.
millions of people just
You just
falling
can't lose
off
the
edge.
goldies. Can't lose the goldies.
Just don't lose the goldies. Yeah.
I feel like the best way ultimately to play this game, and it's going to sound like I'm a heretic, is just ignore the goldies. And like early on, I wanted to get every single one. If I finished a level, it was like they'd celebrate and be like, "No, I lost a goldie. We're not partying now." But I think if I were to ever finish the game, I'd be like, just forget the goldies, just solve the puzzles and don't stress out over it. But I'll be curious to see how far you can get in this one, because it does get hard.
I'm almost to world 3.
Yeah,
now.
you're definitely in the meat of it.
Yep.
The meat.
The meat. Is that it for 6? We're good. Okay.
Yep.
You'd think I'd get used to the people, but
Yeah, I think we've got a good order going.
we got an order. All right, my number 5 game was I think probably one of my most hyped games for this year, and it was one of the first ones to come out. Fire Emblem Engage.
Ooh.
I'm a huge Fire Emblem fan. It's still probably a top 3 series for me today, and Three Houses was incredible. I loved Three Houses. In fact, I was just telling Dylan today, I think I'm starting to feel ready to replay Three Houses again. But the thing about Fire Emblem Engage is it's more that core Fire Emblem gameplay where you play levels and you can go grind and whatever, and it's not so relationshipy, although it still does have the aspect of like talking to people and raising levels, but it's just different than what Three Houses was. And I love both styles. I love them both. But after playing Three Houses, I don't think I could just immediately do that again. So give me a Three Houses style in another year or two, and I'll be ready to go. And this game was one of those rare games that was so good. I finished it up, talked to a few people that I've been talking to about the game who are other Fire Emblem fans. And then like 3 or 4 days later, I was like, I'm just going to start it again. And you can do that because there's so many characters in the game. They overload you with characters that you bring into your, I don't know, what do you call it? Like, you don't have them in your main party when you're fighting, but you have them. They're on the sideline. They're in your camp. And they give you so many that you can play the game multiple times and have completely different characters and like grind up those characters higher. And you start to see what their abilities are at the upper levels. And so, yeah, I played through a second time and I enjoyed it even more because I just used these characters that I had met but didn't know too well. And then suddenly they're saving the day for me. So I'll definitely probably play this again down the road. It was fantastic. The DLC introduced some ways to get power-ups that I think probably made you way too OP, but that's fine. I enjoy playing these games a little overpowered. I like to grind and I find it more relaxing. I don't know how people do hard mode in Fire Emblem. I just can't. But fantastic game. One of my favorite Fire Emblems. That's my number 5.
Nice. My number 5, I talked about a little bit already tonight, John. Mario RPG. I really enjoyed this game. I actually had it even higher, and it ended up being here at number 5. But I was like you, never really played this game. Jumped right into it, which I loved. Fell in love with the characters. You know what you love a game, I find, and this won't be the first time I talk about this tonight, is when you start talking to all the NPCs, right? Like that's how I know I like a game, because typically I'm not a big dialogue guy, but when I'm so intrigued with the characters and the story and the towns, like, and I'm start talking to random people, it's like, all right, I'm into this game, obviously, rather than just cruising through and doing the battles. So for me, Mario RPG was awesome. I loved the uniqueness. I love seeing some of the characters that kind of developed over time. This is kind of one of like the first or second time they actually made an appearance in a Mario game, and they continued down that the turkiness, the uniqueness. Absolutely loved it. Mario RPG. I could see myself maybe playing this game again in the future, just like I play the Paper Marios and stuff like that. So I'm being such a big fan of Paper Mario series. This kind of had a little bit of feel, and I actually have never really got into the Mario Luigi series because, as I said in the past, I was never really a DS 3DS type guy. So this had that feel for me. Loved it. Mario RPG.
Nice. All right. My number 5 is Spider-Man 2. Yeah, awesome game. Yeah, I think you're right, John. Hey, big open world, kind of a bunch of boxes to check. Awesome, great game, kind of flying around, flinging around. I love the 2 protagonists. Really cool story, fluid gameplay. I actually hadn't played the original Spider-Man or Miles Morales until earlier in this year. I kind of wanted to play those, I think January, February, just to get out ahead of Spider-Man 2. But yeah, definitely the best of the 3 in the trilogy so far, as you would expect. Continues to evolve. Similar formula, right? I think the combat could get a little repetitive, but the story kind of carried this one through, and the traversal and the exploration of the game is super neat. Yeah, love this one. Spider-Man 2.
Nice.
Yeah, I've begun to wonder, like I've realized over time, I say that about a lot of games. You ever have like an issue with the game, and then you have the same issue with the game and the same issue with the game, and then you go, are all games just repetitive with enemies? Because you can't make 100 unique enemies. And it's like, I feel like every game is, you're just going to have to fight the same guys over and over again. That's the realities of modern gaming.
Yeah.
They should shorten the game then.
And I think Spider-Man
yeah.
2 actually did a pretty good job with that. It wasn't super bloated. I think it was, I think
all the Spider-Man games, like if you mainline them, they're not too
they're not
terribly.
long. Yeah, I mean, you can finish off Miles Morales in like 4 or 5 hours pretty easily.
Yeah,
you can. It will take me 4 or 5 months.
There were people that criticized Spider-Man 2 for being too short, and I think we might have talked about it.
Length.
Yeah, I think we had a whole episode about the length, and I think it just depends on who's playing, right? There's like the younger Hambones that like buy a game and they're gonna play 48 hours straight of it, like Call of Duty's out. I'm taking the whole week off work and I'm gonna play this game every single moment of the day. And then there's people like us that are like, hey, I want to do a nice adventure game, but rolling credits 15 to 20 hours seems to be the sweet spot. And then give me more to do, but like I don't have to feel stressed about it. I can do it on my own pace because I've rolled credits, that sort of thing. And that's what this game was, and it was fantastic.
Evan was playing Spider-Man the other day on Wii U.
I saw that video. Yeah, that was amazing, high quality stuff.
Disney Infinity's Bat Baby in the Diffusco household.
All right. What are we? Number 5? My number 5 is called Before Your Eyes. It is the best PSVR 2 game that I've played so far. The storyline to this is you're a soul who has been fished out of this river of souls by a guardian fisherman who is now taking you to the leader of the afterlife, and you have to tell your story to this person in order to get to the promised land. It does progress by you blinking. It does the eye tracking thing. So every time you blink, not necessarily like you can blink and not progress the story, but in order to progress the story, you do have to blink, and then you go to the next portion of your life, and it tells your life story as you're blinking. The story it's still in my head. It's a fantastic game. Highly recommend it if you have PSVR 2.
Cool.
I don't know if it's on Quest or not, but yeah, great game.
Did it make you cry?
I don't think so, but it definitely had emotional parts. For sure.
I was going to ask you, because this is definitely, if I ever get a PSVR 2, this was a game I was interested in.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of good things.
I have to ask, though, are there any parts of this game where you're kind of like, I'm going to try to do it for the camera, trying not to blink because if you blink, you'll mess something up, and you got to be like, hold it up, or it's just not like that.
Once the scene's over, it's like blink now. But if you blink really rapidly, it's not gonna progress it. Or I kind of instead you opened your eyes wide to keep from blinking. I squint mine to like keep them watered without fully blinking. So no, it's not that. And I was worried about that too, because that's how it was presented. Was your life's gonna, every time you blink, the scene's gonna change. It's not that intense. It's not that hardcore about it, but
sort of a marketing strategy.
That is a mechanic in the game, but it's not kick your ass over it.
It wouldn't fly. It would be hilarious though. You're in like a particularly dangerous area, and you're like, stop blinking, and then you blink a few times, and it's like you die.
Yeah.
Sweet. All right. I think we're gonna start getting some repeats, and let's just go right for it. My number 4 game, higher than Hambone, Super Mario Brothers Wonder, because while I am older than everyone here, I am more of a child than anyone here, and 2D Mario never gets old. This game I could not put down. The animation is so charming. Everything about this game is so charming. Every level, I was like, oh, I wonder what the wonder is going to be in this one. And just like with every Mario game, getting the 3 coins, in this case, the 3, I forget what they called them, petal coin, flower coins or something like that. Fighting those was always really fun. Unlocking the worlds, so much fun. The special world had some great levels. There were some really hard levels, and that it's a masterclass in level design because you are dying, and you're still so excited to try again. Some games can't do that. You keep dying, and you're just like, fuck this game. There is a very fine line, and it's usually good game design because you feel like you can do it versus me playing an Elden Ring boss and going, there is no way I am doing this. And I love this game to death, and I had 100% it. It was just a compulsion. And the final level, I think a few of us went through at least. My God, the final leg being Invisible Mario was like, here are 3 hard segments. 2 of the 3 were hard. Maybe one of them wasn't so bad. And then if you do all that, you have to play as Invisible Mario, and you'll probably die. Have fun. That was that was how it wrapped up.
You didn't beat it with Invisible Mario and then miss the flagpole and have to go do the whole freaking level again.
You guys did that.
I did that twice.
I hit the flagpole first try. I was like, I don't give a damn. I'm doing everything I can to get this flagpole.
Really, since we're on the topic, why do games have to give you an unlockable when you 100% it? Like, give it to me at like 90%. Like,
so you can use it.
But remember when I did Age of Calamity and I got a fucking blue scarf? Like, I'm never playing that game again as long as I live. I did it. I want the blue scarf maybe for the last few levels.
You have my admiration for 100%ing that game. That was fucking ridiculous.
You know what I want when you 100% a game? Like, just like fireworks go off. Be like, you fucking did it. That's it. That's all I need.
You don't need a platinum trophy, huh?
No.
What about like a little gold star by your picture on your Wii profile shit, on your Switch profile?
That's a great idea, Cooz. Take that back to the boss. I want to be able to get an icon of the game I played in gold.
That's right.
And I can make that my profile icon. That's all you need to do.
That should be their trophies. Yeah.
That's the trophy system.
I totally agree.
Damn.
I have to say this story, and I'm sure my friend would let me. My friend Clint, Kevin, Clint, he's hearing impaired, and he 100%ed Mario and then couldn't figure out what the heck the final trophy thing was. No. And I said, did you get it? And he's like, yeah, but nothing's happening or whatever. And it's like, because he's deaf. So he didn't hear the ridiculous thing that you get, and he just had a great laugh about it. Like, he's like, no wonder I didn't know what the hell it was. It's like, so not the most accessible final trophy, Nintendo. Try a little better next time. It is funny, and certainly what I like about it, like you said, Drew, is it's not something useful at all. It's like, here, this is fun, but don't worry about it. But yeah, I thought that was unnecessarily cruel for a final trophy. Not everyone can enjoy it.
Indeed. My number 4, I'm going to be the first one to say it tonight. I'm assuming we're all going to say it. Zelda Tears of the Kingdom is my number 4 game of the year. And I've said this before. This is no shot by anyone. Obviously, it's number 4. It's an amazing game. But I felt like it was way too similar to Breath of the Wild. And for that reason, I didn't have that same go-getter exploration of Hyrule. I just didn't, right? And that's why I feel like the Underground, it's been so long, was my exploration that I did 100%, and I got all the seeds because that was new and fresh, right? But exploring the same Hyrule that I did years before that, God bless you, Johnny, did it twice in the same year. I couldn't do it. Again, amazing game. Number 4, loved it. But it wasn't good enough or special enough or different enough for me to be even higher ranked. I just felt that it was too much of the same stuff that I wanted to see a little bit new stuff. So
if you fucking put Wargroove 2 above this, I swear to God.
I will say Wargroove 2 did not make my list,
Okay.
John. But it was close. Top 15 it would have been, I think. I really enjoyed it. Or top 20.
Boo.
Got it. All right. Sorry, John.
Oh no, I'll go. So
Wait, what do you mean you
You already
went. You did Wonder.
Oh, I thought. Oh, did Drew not go right after me? Okay,
Yeah,
never mind.
Yeah,
I thought we were on our number 3s.
Nope, we're number 4.
Yeah.
That was my number 4.
Okay, sorry.
Cool. Oh, you're good. All right, my number 4 is I can't mess with the S this time. It's Liza P.
Porn.
Yeah, Liza Porn. This is the porn like game. Now the Pinocchio Souls like game. Played this one on Xbox. Freaking awesome game. Hard as balls. I thought the way that they approached the weapon system in this game was really neat. You basically had a hilt and a blade. And there was basically 2 different paths you can go down. You can either go down like a dexterity path where it was quick weapons, quick attacks, but less damage, or sort of heavier strength based weapons. But you can mix and match your blades and the handles. So if you liked a certain special attack that was tied to one handle, but you liked the blade on the other handle, you can put those together and sort of customize the way you want it to play. The story and setting was really unique in this one. Yeah, you say Pinocchio and you're like, what the hell? Like Jiminy Cricket is in this? Like, yeah, he is, but like he's like your little helper dude. He's basically Navi, for Zelda, but like in this game, helping you out, telling you where to go, that sort of thing. But twisted world, sort of super dark, and everyone's dying and all fucked up shit is happening. But I'm really excited to see what these guys do next with this world. I don't know if anybody here is going to play this one, but basically, this is not its own game. There's more to it. There's a bigger world. There's something that you don't know yet, but there's more to learn with whatever next game that they put out there or DLC. Other fables, I'll say, are tied into this game.
Nice.
And it's a really, really interesting way that they sort of tell the story.
It's intriguing.
This game, it was on your wish list for a while. You had your eye on this.
I've been watching this one for a while. Yeah. Super.
Did it live up to your expectations? Obviously, if it's number 4.
Absolutely. Awesome game. Maybe rough around the edges in some spots here and there, but overall it was super fun. Really, really good time.
How long was this game, Hambone?
30 hours thereabouts. Okay. Yeah, so not super long, but
that's platinum time, right?
No, I didn't platinum this one. It's going to need at least one other playthrough. Yeah, I played it on Xbox. I played it on Xbox too, so I do have this wish list on PlayStation because I'll never play this again.
It lies of P. If there's a category for games that John thinks are good, but there's just so much shit to play, like that's like this one, because I think it does look pretty good. I think part of me is like, look, the From Software games stress me out as it is. I can only deal with the From Software games. I can't be doing all these From likes.
Yeah.
It's too much.
I mean,
It's too
the
scary.
bosses are super tough, like very, maybe even some harder than some of the Elden Ring bosses and stuff a little bit there. More parrying, which I had to get used to, as opposed to dodging, which was interesting. But the getting through the world and the levels to get you to those bosses or those mini bosses was a little bit easier than Demon Souls or some of the other like Bloodborne. I haven't even gotten past the first area yet, so that's a little bit more accessible, I think, with Lies of P.
Sweet. I wonder if it'll come to PS Plus.
I hope so. I hope
You
more
know,
people play this one. It's really good.
Right. They're open to it with Game Pass. So I wonder if it will come to PS Plus. I'd guess probably. But yeah.
I love a good parry in a game. Like
Oh.
when you pull off a good parry, it just feels good. Like
Dude,
bling, and they
yes.
stumble back. You know,
Slow-mo.
This game has a great bling. Awesome bling sound. Yeah.
that's just a fantastic
Yeah.
feeling.
Yeah, really cool.
We should do a top 10 parrying effects in games because there are a bunch that are really good.
Yeah.
All right, my number 4 is Super Mario Brothers Wonder.
Woo!
Yeah, I think is that the one. Your number 4 too, John?
Yep.
We tied. Everything's been said about this that has been said. I'll throw in when this was shown off, John. You were like, "This is going to make for a great." Why did my mind just go blank? Monthly Mayhem, yeah, and it sure was, man. Look at the battles that went on. We were just throwing out times, and I mean, world records on this stuff. That was so much fun. The Mayhem on this Wonder was probably the best one of the year for me.
Didn't you win? Were you the winner? Or
I was right there. I think I finished second or third. I was right there.
I can't remember who won.
Did Trey win that one?
Yeah, he did.
Oh, that was Trey.
Yeah.
You never freaking know with the Monthly Mayhems what's going to click with people and what's
People
not.
just
Right.
come out of nowhere and just pull shit out.
That
of
was a
their
fun
hat.
one, though. It was really cool to see the scores go back and forth. And
Some of the stuff that Cooz pulled off, like I didn't even think of doing that.
Yeah.
True.
It was fun just to try it out and say, how can I shave off a second here and a second there, and just keep trying and trying. It's so fun.
Cooz gets the award for I don't have fucking time to play games, but I have 20 hours to play this same level over and over again.
Yeah. Yeah.
I did a half a second better.
That's right. That's reality right there.
That's the truth.
All right. Top 3, guys. What are we looking for? Top 3. Only one of us has named Tears of the Kingdom. That's noticeable. Top 3. Here we go. My number 3 game, perhaps surprisingly, is going to be Baldur's Gate 3. This was the Game Awards Game of the Year, and this first hit my. This is weird. It first hit my radar because in the lead up to it, and I had done an article on this on Substack. This was going head to head the same week as Starfield. And I love these kind of stories in gaming. This is what I'm here for. I love the drama of it all. And it was like Starfield was like the game people had been waiting like their whole lives for, right? It was like 9, 10, 15, whatever years they want to say in the making. And that same week was Baldur's Gate 3. And then we started getting reviews and it was like 10 out of 10. And it was like, oh shit. Like, holy shit, like this is going to happen like the same day. They're both being released on the same day. And as it happened, it was only available on PlayStation. So even though it wasn't a PlayStation exclusive and it is now on Xbox, I just thought that was fascinating. But I love Larian Studios because I had played the Divinity games. And even though I could never really get very far, I really appreciated what they were doing and I wanted to keep trying. And yeah, so I just decided, you know what? I kind of got the FOMO and decided to go in on it, but I was scared I wasn't going to finish it. And man, I gutted through the entire game, 50 something hours. What an incredible game. The characters are unbelievable in this game. The replayability, there's so many choices that have such long lasting effects. The first time I played through this game, the first person I romanced was Lae'zel. She's like a green lizard lady. Yeah, that's the best way I can describe her. And she's awesome. And she's all like, I want you to taste me. I mean, it was just amazing. Like, this game is awesome. And then the second playthrough, which I'm kind of in the middle of, but it's going slow. I haven't played in a while. Lae'zel got murdered by somebody else in my party overnight. Like I was like, the two girls were fighting, and I was like, yeah, let them fight and see what happens. And she fucking murdered Lae'zel. I was like, Jesus. So there's so much variety in this game. It's just astounding. What a freaking game. The battling, there's so many ways to win a battle. You can kind of cheat your way through. There's some great little magic things you can do, or you can just use swords, whatever. You can dip swords in fire. It's just so much shit you can do. It's insane. It's an astounding game. The only thing that holds it back just a little bit is it is still very buggy. And I really hope that someday they fix some of the bugs. Most of the bugs that have affected me are you do an action and then the game just sort of sits there for 5 to 10 seconds as it figures out what the hell's going on. I don't know what's up. But it's a game you can play over and over. I know there's people that are already on 6th, 7th, 8th runs. It's that incredible. Deserved all the awards. And the only thing that really held it back for me was it's just not my style of game necessarily. I don't play CRPGs. It can be very slow and methodical.
CRPG.
Yeah,
Canadian?
Yeah, that's cousin RPG.
Canadian.
It's cousin to junior RPG.
I think it literally means computer RPG.
I had to Google this recently as well. It's computer RPG, which makes sense. There's so many options and wheels and all this kind of stuff. I could definitely see this being a much better play style on a computer with keyboard and mouse as opposed to controller. But it sounds like people are having a great time.
It's going to have a different feel than like a Final Fantasy type RPG. And the only other game I can think of that's in the realm besides the Divinity games is Disco Elysium. So it's fantastic. It's a game that I'll probably come back to year after year after year until the stories start to feel too samey. And they keep working on it, and they added a whole epilogue to it. So I didn't even get to enjoy the epilogue. And it really is like a culmination of everything you've done in the game. I honestly get the feeling that they just didn't finish the epilogue and they just shipped it without it. But I really want to play through it again and get the epilogue and see. And I don't know, maybe I can actually unlock my previous save file and maybe it'll just go right into it. But yep, that's my number 3. I definitely recommend it to everybody. Play easy mode, by the way. Just play the easiest mode. It is not easy at all. Just play the easy mode. I spent 50 hours constantly learning how to play this game. I never fully got there. I'm still learning things on my second playthrough. So just play it on easy mode. If you make it remotely difficult for yourself, you might quit. So enjoy it. It's fantastic.
Should I have heard of Baldur's Gate 1 or 2, or did you play those games, or do they even exist? Did they just come out with Baldur's Gate?
They're on Switch. Yeah, they're on Switch.
Oh,
you don't have to play them. There's no continuity. It's a standalone game.
Are they different play styles?
Yeah, I think Baldur's Gate 1 and 2 are more like a Diablo sort of action style.
I've played them, and they have the inventory system like Diablo.
Yeah, this Baldur's Gate 3 is completely turn-based, and I mean, some battles just feel like they take forever, and there's like 3 enemies. It's it's one of those games where you got to hit somebody, and it's like you missed, and it's like fuck, come on, like it's taken forever here. You don't have to play the first 2, but they are on Switch.
Yes. All right. My number 3 game, Mario Wonder.
Woo!
Yeah, that's about it. Talked about it enough.
All right. Okay. My number 3 game is Tears of the Kingdom.
Woo!
Loved it. Great game. A couple of things holding it back. I think Drew hit it on the head a little while ago. Maybe not as different enough from Breath of the Wild for me. I think the economy in this game was kind of whack. Broken. Loved the story and the presentation. I think that the tears and finding the memories that way was so much more engaging than what they did with Breath of the Wild. Wasn't a huge fan of like the Ultra Hand stuff, whatever. I don't know. I think it made for the shrines to be breakable and maybe not as fun and as maybe the shrines from Breath of the Wild. I also think there's way too many shrines. Way too many Raru's blessings. Didn't need as many of those.
Get out of here, man. There was not enough shrines, and there was not enough Raru's blessings.
Yeah, I'll take more shrines, less Raru's blessings.
All right, fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah, love the story. The ending sequence, one of the best moments in gaming this year for sure. But the very, very end, I think ruined it for me. Where
Very end.
the very end, this big, this
Just
story of
spoil it.
we're good with spoilers here.
Yes.
The story of sacrifice, and you find out, Zelda has been in the sky as this dragon for years and years and years, and she's given her life for the kingdom, and there's she's done all this stuff, and oh my god, what a great journey, and all of a sudden the freaking cat people show up and go boo with their hands, and now she's back. What the fuck? Like, that ruined it for me. Like, are you kidding me? Like, so stupid. Everything else up to that point was awesome. Third best game of the year, by the way. I had a big problem with that ending. Like, just kill her, man. That would have been so much more impactful if she truly gave her life for the kingdom.
Just kill Zelda.
Nintendo wouldn't let that happen.
Yeah, let's
kill Luigi while we're at it. Let her continue to be the dragon. Then.
Yeah, but then it's Zelda, like the trial of like vengeance or bringing her back. That's the third game. Don't bring her back.
Yeah. I just
think
think
the future.
Why all of a sudden she can now be human again after ingesting the scale or whatever it was, or I forget exactly.
Yeah, that was the point. She sacrificed.
Yeah, she sacrificed.
Fantasy, Hambone. It's fantasy.
Yeah, I know, but it was stupid.
You know what? I'm not
go fuck a lizard again, John.
It was. I think it would have been a little depressing, honestly. I know what you mean, because I remember here is like, because they specifically said once you turn into a dragon, you can't turn back, and then they
hit that
they
like
turned her back.
Time. Yeah, I'm like, come on.
But it would have been super depressing if Zelda just lived the rest of her life floating in the sky.
Yeah, for sure. Or at least bring us to a point where, like, okay, you can reverse it by doing X, Y, and Z, not just like having magic hands.
Yeah, that's damn. You gotta go do something.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway,
can I ask a question? If Zelda became a dragon forever, would she have she have relations with Link? You would? Okay, all right.
Yeah. I knew where you're going there, Johnny. With the
Link is like, I'm gonna go with the sky.
I love that you started recently calling it relations, John. You hit like 47 years old and you're like, we're having relations.
Getting together.
I'll tell you what, since we're talking spoilers here, let's spoil everything. No, my 10-year-old daughter loves Zelda. You all saw her room. She has Zelda pictures up and a Zelda statue and stuff. I was watching her face when that moment happened, when Zelda changed into the dragon, and I felt she was about to cry.
Yeah,
like I felt so bad for her. I told my wife, I was like, "This is going to be like scarring for this kid."
Mm-hmm.
So I hadn't finished the game yet. My wife went and Googled it, and she was like, "She turns back," and I'm like, "Oh, thank you. There's hope to this story." Then, so yeah, but yeah. That was hard. My number 3 is Tears of the Kingdom as well. Same thing as you guys. Breath of the Wild is my number 1 game of all time. I loved walking on that plateau and like anything's possible here. I love an open world game where there's not dots all over the map like in Assassin's Creed or Horizon Forbidden West and stuff. Like, you got to go here, 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 here. Breath of the Wild was like, go wherever you want. Tears of the Kingdom was the same way. And then I fall into the world and it's like, oh, I've been here. This is the same place that I have been. The thing that sold it for me was the depths. And I heard Drew talking about it on the podcast before I had gotten there. And I'm like, I got to check this out. And once I got down there in the depths, I spent the whole game down there. Yeah. That's like all I did was just clear that out. And then I popped up top and beat the game. I didn't really explore the regular world too much.
Same shit. You go to the same Rito village and the same Goron village and the volcano. It's the same thing.
Yeah. But I was opposite of you, Hambone. When I saw the trailer and saw the Ultra Hand, I was like, I hope you don't have to. I hope the game doesn't rely too much on this. I was really dreading it, but I enjoyed the Ultra Hand a lot more than I thought I would. I liked kind of breaking the dungeons, like going into the shrines and thinking, how can I, cheat this one?
Yeah, fair enough.
What ways can I cheat this? So I thought that was a cool part. But yep, that's it for me.
Nice.
All right, last 2 games. Here we go. My number 2 game of the year is Marvel's Spider-Man 2. Didn't honestly expect that. I was pretty excited for the game coming out, but I did not expect it would get this high on the list. But just being able to have Peter Parker and Miles Morales together and the interplay between them was so well done. They really could have been a game of, you move a character to a place and they're like, no, you can't do that with Peter Parker. No, you can't do this. And you just you can control both characters, but they interact so much. They talk to each other all the time. And there's lots of great story elements about things going on with Peter Parker that Miles has to help out with and vice versa. It was just so fantastic. And, it's like, yeah, it's the same city. I mean, a lot of the same criticisms that you guys are talking about with Tears of the Kingdom. It's the same city and whatever, but everything felt so fresh. All the quests were different. There were several returning characters from Miles Morales, returning characters from Peter Parker, from the original Spider-Man. But still, it always felt very fresh. And I think Spider-Man benefits from great game mechanics are just, I'll always remember when people were like raving about the original Spider-Man. I haven't played it yet. And it's like, how good could it be? And then you play it and you're like, wow, this feels so good. And you could just sort of play the game forever. So I 100% it. I platinumed this one because Hambone was pressuring me into it.
Yeah, peer pressure. Sorry about that.
Yeah, and it was just absolutely fantastic, and I can't wait for DLC. And I just want to play it more. Give me more stuff to do. Some of the extra trophies and stuff were really fun to do. There's one where you go to the baseball stadium and you just have to run around the bases.
Yeah.
And it did things, and it was like, this is fantastic. And then you hear an announcer talking about you. It was like, wow, that was really good. And a friend of mine today just sent me a picture of, they went to Rockefeller Center in the game, and I was like, oh, freaking no way. Like, that's totally cool. Cause I was so, there's so many quests and things to do. I was so geared with just going quest to quest. Like you said, Kevin, just point to point that I need to go to. I really didn't just goof around as much as I should have and just go look at the sights in New York or just walk on the sidewalk and hear the traffic and all that stuff. So
yeah,
I did that in the first one, went to Rockefeller Center and then found where the Nintendo store is.
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
I need to do that. Next time there's DLC, I'll right before the game, just to warm up before DLC, I'll go explore. It was fantastic.
Wait, so was the Nintendo store there? They don't really have like store names.
It was, I mean, it was there, but it wasn't called the Nintendo store. It was like Joe's Coffee Shop or something.
They would have had a license to it. I heard that they didn't have, what was it? Not the Empire State Building, the other one, because they couldn't get like a license to use the name in the game. And I'm just like why? Just like, I'd be like, yeah, use our whole model and everything in the game. Like, it's only, you're just going to attract tourists. Like, why would you force them to pay? I didn't understand that.
Lame.
Nice.
All right. My number 2 is a game that I did not expect to be this high on the list. In fact, it's a game I was excited for, but didn't do research. So I kind of went into it with low expectations. And that game is Gunbrella. I didn't really know what to expect. I knew the style, I knew the gameplay, I knew the developers, but when I went into this game, this was one of those things. I beat it in like, I don't know, 3-4 days. I just nonstop kept thinking about it. Another one of those games. I was talking to every single NPC. I explored every single square inch of all the map. The storyline locked me in. I don't know why. It kind of felt like the old school Gladiator movie storyline where the guy just comes home and his house is burnt down and his wife is there dead and his daughter's missing out of her crib. And it's just like rampage of revenge and answers. That's all this guy wants about his family. And he has nothing left, so he's not holding anything back. It's raunchy with kind of like the language. Just again, wasn't expecting to fall in love with this. Like, truly mystery, a little bit of wanting to know why. Why did this happen? How did it happen? Is his daughter alive? Is she not alive? Why'd they kill the wife? Like, you go to like the junkyard and there's like this other little. It's just, I don't know. Absolutely fell in love with this game. Perfect length, and it was about 8 hours or so. And again, sometimes when you go into a game with these low or no expectations, you come out happy, right? I mean, Tears of the Kingdom, Mario Wonder, Mario RPG, all these games and have these super high expectations, right? Because it's the title, the name. Umbrella was just, I knew a little bit about it. I knew what the style was. And I said, I don't really need to know more information. I'm going to play it. And came out loving it. So that's why it's number 2 for me.
Did you cry?
No, I didn't cry, but I should have.
You were.
If I had a soul, I would have cried.
There were points in that game.
There's a
There
couple,
were emotional points.
Yeah.
Did you guys cry?
No.
Come on,
It's hard to cry at a pixelated game,
Kevin.
like that.
Yeah.
I have hope for Kevin's daughter. She's crying when Zelda turns into a dragon.
Yeah.
I don't know how old she needs to be for the Life is Strange experience, but I'm looking forward to
I
it.
don't know. No. Yeah.
Yeah.
My memory of this game was that Drew was so interested in the story, and I just hadn't heard that from Drew in the 4 years we've been doing this. It was like, he's just like, I gotta know what's gonna happen with the mom. And I was like, what is this, like a metamorphosis? Is he evolving like a Pokemon? Like what is this? It was very unusual. I forgot about this one too. I should have realized this
It's
was
a
gonna
good
be pretty high
game.
up.
I think maybe opposite from Drew. I was following this one along. I was really interested in
You
it.
were.
We were hyping each other up about it a little bit. I was expecting more action and less story, and
There is a lot.
I think that's why it didn't make my list this year, just because it was probably half and half, like story, action, and I think it just broke it up a little bit too much for me. But I absolutely see why this one was a big one for you.
You 2D games, is it because of how we grew up? When we see 2D games, we just don't expect story because we grew up on 2D games that had no story? Because I agree with you. Like, I would not have expected this game to be heavy on story. And you become like, you like story, but you're not geared up for that in this game. And you're just like, let's go. What's going on? Like, you just don't get that at 2D games as much.
Yeah, and I honestly, is Doinksoft, right? Is the developer? I'm pretty sure, right? So they did what, Gato Roboto, and then Demon Throttle, the physical only game from a couple years ago. And yeah, so there's not much story in either of those games, so it was kind of a surprise. But anyway,
Interesting.
moving on.
Well,
yeah,
Well, Devolver Digital did this too, though, right?
they published it. Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Drew, have you played Celeste?
Of course.
Have you played To the Moon?
No, I have not played that one.
I played that one.
Add that to the list for 2D. It doesn't have as much, guns or umbrellas, but it's got a great story.
I wouldn't think that's a Drew game, but if
I
he
wouldn't
likes
either.
that
I
one,
wouldn't
I think
either.
we've unlocked something. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm just trying to tap into that emotional side now that he's evolved into Druizard.
I'm getting older. I'm getting older, guys. I'm adapting. I did love Celeste. I didn't cry, but I enjoyed it.
How do you not cry during Celeste? That's.
it died too
I
many
guess
times.
that's the measure.
Yeah.
I know.
It wasn't realistic enough.
I would cry just from the sound of the dialogue sometimes when like Madeline was sad. It was like it didn't even matter what she's talking about. Yeah.
Yeah,
That was pretty good.
You guys are
actually.
tough. You guys are tough boys.
yeah.
Uh,
All right. So my number 2 game for this year is Sea of Stars. Love this
Suika
game.
game number 1.
Yeah, right. Holding out for the best. I mean, I love Sabotage. Messenger is one of my favorite games. Certainly one of my favorite indies. Was really interested to see what they were going to do with this world and the story. I don't think everybody here played Messenger, but those that did, there's a lot of cool crossovers. There's a certain point in the game where you get to, I don't know whether it was Mesa Island or something, or you appear on like the glacier level.
Wasn't the falls? There was like a fall. It wasn't the falls level.
Something like the Autumn Falls was there. So basically, you find out that Mesa Island is the location where the entire game of the Messenger took place. And in Messenger, they said, hundreds of years ago, whatever, there was this great flood or whatever. And Sea of Stars is occurring all before that. There's a really cool like shrine you find in the Messenger at one point. And it ties into Zale and Valere kind of leaving their essence as like one last like ray of hope for the people. So I thought all that was really cool. Honestly, this game wasn't as high on my list until I went back and went for the platinum. There's a lot of cool stuff that you've got to do. Setting aside the rainbow conches, those are kind of a pain in the ass. Definitely use the guide for that. But there is one trophy you need to get that what is it called? I think it's the artful gambit relic, which reduces your health by 90 or 95%, but doubles your damage. But also, if enemies are casting, so they have those little like icons over their head, you can't attack them. So you have to break their locks and get the timing right and do everything like that. Basically, refine your combat style, and you have to beat 10 bosses like that. So I had to go back in, play those 10 bosses. Really love that. All the extra stuff you have to do to unlock the true ending was amazing. The last boss, you fight him in that turn-based style, and after you trip a certain, like, you get his health down a certain amount, it turns into a Galaga game, and you have yeah, it's really freaking cool. Almost like they did with the Picnic Panic DLC. The final boss in that is like a punch out match.
So good.
So it's like Sabotage just has something where they just kind of flip the gameplay on its head in these certain places. It was really awesome. And all the extra side quests that you need to do are really cool, and their humor and their writing in the game I thought was really fun. There's a character you get, his name is Beast, and his special attack, it comes on the screen, it says Altered Beast. And I thought that was just the funniest shit. But yeah, man, Sea of Stars, great game.
That's cool. I'm glad you. I mean, I played this. I just couldn't get into it all the way. I mean, I played pretty far into it. Good for you guys. I mean, I didn't play Messenger and stuff. If I did, it's pretty cool how that all connects. But
I played the first half of Messenger. Once it got to that one part where it flips the script, I'm like, I'm not gonna do this. I don't.
Yeah, the Metroidvania.
I'd rather go play Wonder over and over and over again to shave off a second. But this Sea of Stars is, I feel like Messenger's more action. Sea of Stars is turn-based, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So it's like a whole different
totally
genre.
Different genre.
Yeah.
If I remember right too, they did a documentary on this, but they wanted to do Sea of Stars first, but they went ahead and did the Messenger first, but their dream was always to make a Chrono Trigger style kind of RPG. So it was definitely a labor of love.
Interesting.
Nice.
John dropping the real facts.
Yeah. My number 2 is Spider-Man 2. Everything that's been said, I I can flip a coin with it in Tears of the Kingdom. There is this, it's the same New York. New York hadn't changed in a while. So you're still exploring the same thing. They just added that extra island on, added that extra area on, which made it super cool. So almost like Tears of the Kingdom, adding on the depths. New York added, well, what's the other section over there?
Brooklyn? Queens.
Yeah. They added that on. That's cool. So great game. I haven't finished it yet. I'd say I'm about a third of the way through it, but it's really drawn me in. Like, that's when I sit down to play PlayStation, that's the game that I want to play until I finish it. So I'll platinum that one. I platinum the other 2. Actually, I'm a little short on first Spider-Man, but I should be able to get that one in like an hour or 2. But yeah, great game. Like I said, with that and Tears of the Kingdom, flip a coin for me.
If you love Spider-Man 2 already a third of the way through, then you're going to love Spider-Man 2 when it's all said and done.
Really
it only gets better.
I just got to the part kind of where you get to the extra character.
Okay.
Yep.
Sweet. So that's it. We're up to the game of the year.
Mm-hmm.
Exciting. I'm trying to guess. I mean, Coozy already leaked it, but I'm trying to guess what everybody's game of the year is. Mine is definitely no surprise. Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom. Very rare that I get so soaked into a game I just can't stop playing. I played way too many hours in this game. God, and it's some of the best moments of the year were playing this game, and I just have to I respectfully, it's like I said, it's all personal, man. I respectfully disagree. yes, it was the same landscape as Breath of the Wild. And to me, there was a few recognizable places. Definitely Rito Village. Definitely the Goron area a little bit. There was definitely some places that I knew from the first game. But aside from that, everything seemed so different. And the effect that it had on me was I would forget where I was because the landscape was so different. There was all these new caves that came out of nowhere. And then you'd see a spot and go, oh, I recognize this. But it was so refreshed and new. I never felt like they just took the same map and plopped it and that was it. Definitely could have been that way, but definitely not. And then going up in the air, it was so gorgeous up there. And the depths, there was so much stuff to explore that it never had that effect on me. And in fact, the fact that it was the same map made going to places like Hyrule Castle so cool because you did see these differences. And the biggest difference, when people talk about the Wild's the best game, Tears of the Kingdom's best game, to me, it'll always be that Breath of the Wild was the more isolating game, the more quiet game where it's almost like this empty world. And this game was, if you want to play Breath of the Wild, but you want to have some friends with you, and there's so many more people to interact with, it made it so much more interesting to follow the stories and everything. I think I played 100 and something hours of this game, 150, 140, I can't remember. But I played a ton of it. I had to look up the last 8 or so shrines. I didn't want to look up any of them because I was having so much fun. I didn't want to stop playing anyway, but eventually I did want to like just find the last 8. And man, like I played how many hours of that game? I never found the bubble guys, the guys that will trade you the masks. And I find that amazing because it's not that I didn't stumble across them. I actually started looking for them. I didn't look it up, but I started looking for them and I couldn't find them. That's how big this world is. That's how much there is to do. That in all of those hours, I couldn't find a core mechanic of this game. Never got it started. I have all these bubble gems with nothing to do. It's kind of incredible. I have no idea where they are. I don't really want anyone to tell me yet. But yeah, it's incredible. The lady in the well took me a while to find. I did look her up because I wanted, I didn't want to find all these wells and have it wasted. Yeah, just there's so much stuff in this game and so many aspects of it. I loved every single shrine. There probably was, I agree, Hambone, like too many of the free ones, but I didn't mind the free ones when you had to do something challenging to find it. That was fine.
Right.
But then there were some other ones that were like, oh, it's a free one. And it's like, well, then you probably shouldn't have put this one here. But
yeah,
just a legendary game. And I think like once this game came out and I finished it up and I was like, okay, between Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, that's like my new favorite of all time. I can't pick one over the other. But this series, which sounds like it's going to wrap up, there's not going to be a third game in this series. They're going to do something new and fresh for the next Zelda, probably in 2028, 2029. Yeah. Wow. What a 1-2 punch of games. Absolutely just fantastic. And they complement each other so well. Yeah, easily number one.
Well said, I think it's great that you called it legendary. I like that. That should be your quote. The Legend of Zelda, legendary. John,
put it on the box.
Legendary.
Yeah, right there on the box. I think those. I'm not giving anything away here, but the bubble guys, I feel like you find them in one spot, but after you find them the first time, then they rotate, then they move around. So.
Yeah, I've gone through all the big cities. I've gone all of places. I just can't find them. But one day I will. One day I will.
One day you will, and you'll get stuff you don't need anymore.
We'll be very excited.
Well, you did a great job giving it justice, John. I will say that you sparked some memories of how good the game is. But
yeah, for sure.
Still number 4, which isn't a bad thing. My number 1 game, another shot that came to me because I never played any of these games before. Pikmin 4. I just went into this game with zero. I don't even think I was going to buy it, and I don't even know what made me buy it, but I did.
We did. And we told you to buy it.
You might have. Amy and I played the entire game together. And just these cool little cute Pikmin guys that you fall in love with. And I want plushies of them, and I don't have any, and I need to get some. And, Ochi, and just you said it a little bit earlier, John, just like you see something, like, well, how do I get that? And it's just the concept of you don't want to lose these guys, but you want to explore the map. I 100% of this game, every possible thing there is to do. I loved you get into this routine of go play a level, come back to this little overworld map, go talk to your person, you buy some upgrades, blah, blah. All right, am I ready for another level? Jump right back in. Then you little every once in a while, you have little nighttime things. Not anything too special, but at least change up the pace of the game a little bit. And I fell in love with Pikmin. It's almost like I forgot about it because I moved on to the next couple games. So there was so many, but like this would have been a perfect game. I should have asked someone to go buy me Pikmin 3 for Christmas. And now that I'm thinking of it, Christmas is in 7 days. It's not going to happen. Would have been the perfect gift. Maybe I'll just buy it for myself and play through it because I had so much fun just learning and uncovering this game that I've seen for years, right? Decades. And it's just like seeing it, not interested. And I'm like, why was I never interested in this game? It's cute, it's fun, it's easy to pick up, super easy to pick up and put down, which I like. I'm definitely going to play more of you in this series, Pikmin. So,
and it was born on your favorite console too, which makes it even more surprising.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
agreed.
Awesome.
One of my favorite moments in Pikmin games is I think the best games have the subtle moments. They're not the things like you can write in the description or whatever, but I always love when you've got a bunch of Pikmin and they're carrying some heavy item and the clock is running down and you're like, go, come on. And you're throwing as many Pikmin at them as possible and you're watching the clock and they get to the ship just in time. And then like the game stops and it's like, when you're like, yeah, like that, like those moments are always the best.
Yep. Agreed.
Yeah. Good stuff. All right. My game of the year is Star Wars Jedi Survivor.
Nice.
I loved this game. Built on everything from Fallen Order. You start with the same 3 kind of lightsaber options, single, dual wield, or like the Darth Maul double blade. It builds on top of that with 2 new stances. You get the cross guard, which is like a big heavy sword, kind of like the Kylo Ren type of thing with the little thing coming off the side. And then you get a blaster stance, which is pretty neat. So like blaster in one hand, lightsaber in the other. So you can really customize the way that you want to play. The story here was really good. Probably one of the best modern Star Wars stories that they have out there. You hear a lot about oversaturation between Star Wars and Marvel and all this stuff. And I don't disagree with that. But I think if you're looking for a really good Star Wars story and you have the ability to play this, do yourself, a favor and get this game. It's really, really good. You can play it at different difficulty levels too. So like the first game played more like a Souls type game. This one, you can crank it down to easy if you just want to see the story. It's really good. Good exploration. The traversal, surprisingly, is really fun in this. Like the first game, you can do a wall run and like sort of like extra jumps and whatever. But there's like this whole like portal system that you unlock halfway through the game that kind of changes things. And I won't say they have shrines, but they have like shrine-like puzzles. Some of them are traversal, some of them are combat. And there's not too many of them, so they never really get stale. And then this, some of the cinematics and the story moments just hit so hard in this game. Really, really stayed with me, and I'm very confident in putting this one number 1 because I played this right before Tears of the Kingdom. They kind of came out back to back, and I don't know, man. I just kept thinking about going back to this game and finishing it off, and playing some more of it. So. Yeah, man. Star Wars Jedi Survivor. Great game.
I'm jealous now.
Were there any Raru's blessings in that game?
0 Raru's blessings.
There's no freebies in this.
No. Are you a Star Wars guy?
Not huge. I mean, I love the first trilogy. The prequels came out when I was in high school. Watched those. Didn't really like the more recent ones. Saw the first 2 seasons of The Mandalorian. Liked it. Haven't really watched much of the other stuff.
Okay.
But yeah,
that's enough. You pass the test.
Yeah.
What style of game is this?
Open world, 3rd person action.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm down. I want to play it.
I want to play it too. I'm not gonna lie.
It's really, really good. Cal cast this as a character. Really, you can see his growth from the first game to the second, and how he's maturing, and the difficult decisions he has to make, and what does it mean to be a Jedi, and have these personal relationships, and it's really deep. It's really deep.
Do you need to play Fallen Order?
I would play Fallen Order first. I would.
Yeah. Is it the same character?
Same character.
Okay.
Same character.
Yeah, so it is kind of a direct sequel.
It's a direct sequel. Occurs 5 years after the events of the first game.
Oh, okay.
Really good game. Really, really good.
Sweet.
First game has one of the greatest endings ever.
Yes.
You played the first one, John, or you played?
I played the first one. Yeah.
Okay.
The ending of the first game is one of the best endings you'll ever see. It's so good.
It's amazing. It really great couple games. The map still kind of sucks. I won't lie. The map is still not perfect. It's better than Fallen Order. It's still not 100% where it needs to be though. But that's my number one game of the year.
Sweet.
There's warping though, right?
Yes.
Because the first game did not have that.
No, that was a big pain in the ass. This is much, much better.
Cool.
Sweet. Yeah, I'll check that out. My number one game is Hogwarts Legacy, and here's why. I didn't give a Hufflepuff's hiney about Hogwarts or Harry Potter or anything before this game. I haven't read any of the books. I'd seen like 2 of the movies, and they're fine, but whatever. But I jumped into this game on release pretty much, and I mean, a month later, I was at Universal in a Hogwarts section drinking a butter beer, like with my fucking wand, swinging it around. Like that's how much. I mean, I went all in because of this game. So it did its job. There's been, several of us has talked about it, and there's a lot of info out there. But I loved almost everything about this game. I don't know. I didn't want to finish it. It took me forever, not only because I didn't have the time to sit down and play, but because I didn't want it to end. I kept wanting to explore. John, you mentioned you thought the world was too big. I thought it was great. I love because you can hop on your broom and take off and just fly and get places quickly with the warps and all that. So, yeah, I don't really have much bad to say about this game.
So have you seen the movies now?
No, I've seen like the first 2.
Got to read the books. Yeah, the movies are whatever. They're movies.
Yeah,
the books are really special.
Yeah, I've heard that. So, yeah, but I was all up in the theme park, buddy.
Nice.
All up in there.
Love it.
The butterbeer is really good. You have the butterbeer?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
They got a candy shop.
Oh, yeah.
It's a great little place.
You got your wand.
Yeah, one of the best rides there in the park too is the Harry Potter thing.
I agree.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Cooz playing with his wand, Hambone with his saber.
That's right.
That's the number ones.
I'm playing with my Pikmin.
Your purple Pikmin. All right, that was awesome. Top 10 games of the year. I think we represented pretty well.
I think so.
That was a good time. Hope you all learned a lot. We are going to take a quick break, and we've got Kevin. Do you want to introduce what you have done for the show?
Sure. Yeah. I've been working on a project the past couple of weeks. I've paused my number 2 game, Spider-Man, to work on this project. What I did was if you've listened to this show and have listened to me on this show, you know that I'm kind of, what would you say? Like I go back and listen to all the episodes, and I know, oh, you said this so many times, John. What, I'm a connoisseur.
You're like a historian. Your dad's historian.
That's it. Historian. That's the word. I'm the historian for the Dad's After Dark show. So
I see you as a super fan. You're like the Raider fans with the spikes.
Yes.
In the stands. That's what you're doing.
That's right. That's me. Yeah. The Dad's After Dark super fan.
Yeah.
Sure. I'll wear that proudly. So what I did is go back and I listened to every episode of this year, pretty much over the past 2 weeks. I sped it up a lot of times. But I went and pulled some of the best parts of every episode and combined it all together. I've wanted to do this for past years and past episodes and kind of surprise you guys with this, but I'm like, let me keep it to 1 year instead of the whole show series. So let me just stick to 2023. But so I did that. I went back, listened to all the episodes, split out the good parts and combined them all together into what I thought was going to be maybe a 5-minute clip of the year. So we could play it on this episode, turned into an hour long, basically extra episode. So I made this for you guys. It's really funny. It's really good. If you go back, some of the highlights of this year, the best episode was 169, where Hambone was spending the night at Drew's house. They were drinking and John was trying to corral him in. In the past, John had mentioned Life is Strange almost on every episode. This year, he's mentioned Sports Story on almost every episode. If you can believe it or not, Sports Story was the most mentioned game this year. So, yeah.
Nice.
But yeah, it's I guess John's going to play a little sample of it for you, and maybe the full episode at a later time. But you guys will really enjoy it.
Yeah, we're going to play. This is going to be our Christmas special. So Christmas morning, you'll have this whole entire thing for you. Spend some time with your family, but we all know at 9 o'clock at night, man, you need some time. There's not going to be a lot of podcasts next week, so this will be something for you to enjoy.
And do not play this with your family.
Don't play it with your family.
No. This is definitely not kids friendly. This is like taking the dirtiest parts of this show and just gluing them together.
Yeah, if you have any complaints, direct them at Kevin. He's at a Marriott somewhere. And,
we are the ones that said them.
But we're going to play a short clip of it now while maybe some of us take a break. So here's a little sample of what you're going to get next week on the Best of Dads After Dark Show 2023.
John, happy fucking New Year. Season 4. Merry Christmas. What's going on?
2023 is fast approaching, so fast that we're in it.
If there ever was, 2023 is the year of Tron.
This is a voodoo dick.
Monthly mayhem.
Your mom unlocked my balls last night.
That's nice. I mean, the balls are great.
Nice. I'm going to work on Drew. Don't worry about it.
You can work on me all you want.
You're going to get a Luna because of Avatar game?
Yeah,
I did not have that on my bingo card.
No, I'm dead serious. I will probably buy a Luna.
Fire Emblem Engage is my number one hype game of the year. Without a doubt, I never stand anymore unless I'm at a urinal. I spent years never grooming down there. Then I did it with butcher scissors.
Ugh.
I would just take the scissors and I just hope I don't nick something. I love it.
Steal your wife's phone.
Great game, chill game. I got it for chill.
Can we save that quote?
For chill.
I got it for chill.
Sometimes you need a chill game. Hambone got me turned on.
That's not a first. Listen, up, down, left, right. Would you fuck the Tooth Fairy if you could? I mean, I need like Ant-Man's costume. I'll be waiting for that sucker under the tooth. Under the pillow, in and out. By the way, you owe me $350.
I have some wimpy dudes that, and I have no way of like grinding them up.
Like they're touching each other.
Oh yeah.
The more, the merrier.
I want them all lined up like a pack of ants heading for, your snack.
And I said, it's vagina? And he goes, well, where do you think babies come from? I was like, you're right. Quite surprisingly, really. I didn't even think we would even mention Pikmin.
I'm not even sure what you're talking about still, to be honest. I want to know, just by looking at a guy in the eyes, do I have that motherfucker?
I did not love the game. And sometimes, Drew, I even think about replaying the game. Like maybe I just missed something.
You've said a lot of stuff in your life. That's the dumbest.
I agree. The shit cherry on top of the shit ice cream is you get nothing now.
What the fuck did we watch?
She's fantastic.
I love just nuts in my mouth. What's the word for Cooz?
A piece of shit. Oh, no, what?
A year ago, I didn't give a fuck about Pokemon. And now I'm so balls deep, my tip is hurting.
Trying to track down Cool Mom. If anybody knows Cool Mom.
Cool Mom.
Oh, my God. That is so good, Kevin. I forgot that Cool Mom never claimed her prize. that was mine.
Cool Mom.
Cool Mom. You missed out on eShop money. What's going on, Cool Mom?
Is it still eligible if she reaches out?
I don't remember what happened with that. Did we just give it to somebody else? We might not have ever done
what
that.
She won, or what?
I'm pretty sure the informant grabbed that at some point.
I don't know. Maybe Drew bought Drew with it.
Maybe his wife was Cool Mom.
So once again, you can listen to that next week. We'll have the whole thing. It is worth it.
It's worth it.
I enjoy the whole thing while playing Monster Hunter, and it deeply entertained me. It is an honor, super fan Kevin. You are something special.
Thanks.
You are. We appreciate it. We appreciate
That's awesome.
that.
I appreciate you guys. I'm speaking for all the fans out there. You guys have a great following on Discord. So I'm speaking for all of them, and you guys are amazing. Thank you for what you do, and let's do it for another 5-10 years.
We save the world a little bit at a time. All right. We have a bunch of other bonus categories. We won't take as long with these, but we've got some fun categories.
God, I hope not.
These are in some ways more fun than the regular games of the year because you can guess those. These you might not be able to guess because you know what? Well, Sports Story will be on the list, but
Will it?
the first category. Now, these categories are often these categories right here are not necessarily 2023 games. These are any game that we played this year. So you might hear some 2023 games. You might not. And the first category is, gentlemen, what is your favorite gaming moment of the year? I can start again. I've got a few. Many of them are Tears of the Kingdom, and underrated is the first moments of Tears of the Kingdom when you're in the cave with Zelda and she's interacting with you in a way that she really never interacts with you in the first game. I found that magical. Of course, when you get the Master Sword, that was just one of the best moments of the year by far. I have the final 30 seconds of Tears of the Kingdom. I think it was post credits. And I recorded it and I saved it on my phone. And every so often I watch it. It's just a magical final 30 seconds.
And cry.
Yeah. And cry.
Yeah.
But my single best moment of the year has to be the singing Piranha Plants from Mario Wonder, because man, they did a great job of hiding that from the demo. I certainly didn't play it in the demo. And they come out singing, and I was just like, I just went wide-eyed. I was like, holy shit. Like, this is amazing. Just the best moment of the year by far for me. So good.
I mean, there's really no other answer. That's what I have as well.
That's a good one. What do you guys got?
My favorite video game moment is my kid getting her first platinum trophy. Does that count?
Whoa.
Well, of
what
course
game?
it does.
My Little Pony.
They all count.
Hey, she did that all on her own. She picked the game, she played through it, and she was like, "Yeah, I'm done." I was like, "You're missing one trophy for the platinum. You got to get it." She was like, "All right." I mean, she wasn't thrilled at all, and I'm like, "Yeah, I'm over there." That's that. Now I'm crying. I'm like, "Yeah, first platinum." So now she's like, now she wants a PS5. So I really screwed the pooch on that one.
Oh boy.
Yeah, that was great. That was a proud dad moment and fun video game moment for me.
Mecha Dragon will be so proud of her.
Yeah.
Awesome. My favorite gaming moment this year, a strong number 2 is the tank sex, I'd say. Really awesome sequence
that's really hard to beat.
Cyberpunk. Yeah, man. I mean, you tether into the tank to control it with both you guys, but then also your nervous systems become interconnected. So it's like you're fucking yourself at the same time as you're fucking this other chick.
That's the best.
It's just crazy. It's just totally
It's like
wild.
some Avatar shit there.
Yeah, it's insane. So, so strong number 2. But my best moment this year, obviously a lot of good stuff with Tears of the Kingdom as well. But there's a Empire drill fight scene in Jedi Survivor. Super cinematic. You're on this big plateau. It's where you first unlock that extra traversal trick that I mentioned before, like sort of like those green warps. So you're doing the wall running, and you're trying to escape this thing, and then like the magic lady comes and is like, you can use these portals, and it's just like a total mind fuck. It's just really really amazing.
You kind of reminded me, Hambone. I don't know how, but the final boss in Burning Shores was also a great
very similar, well. Honestly.
Yeah.
Very similar.
What do you got, Drew?
Nice. I already said the Sin and Piranha Plant.
Oh, okay. All right. Sweet. Next category, hardest game you played this year. Mine is a game that I played for the second time and once again still failed to beat it. Sekiro, Shadows Die Twice. I gave it another valiant effort, started from the beginning, got further than I did before, which made me very proud. But still, I'm probably maybe not even halfway or maybe about halfway. The Guardian Ape. I fought that motherfucker for hours and could not beat it. And tiny spoiler, you can actually kill it and it's dead, and the game actually pretends that you beat it, and then it gets back the fuck up, and the game has trolled you, and it's not over yet.
Oh,
And I
that's
got
the
crushed.
worst.
That's
Fucking-
awesome.
I mean, I can't do it. I can't. So, I'll never be able to get through Sekiro. From games are hard. This one is another freaking level. I can't do it. So, a lot of parrying. That's a big reason why.
Mm-hmm.
That's my moment.
Gotta love the parry.
Cool.
Nice. I'm gonna go with a game that maybe wasn't the hardest, but I think just broken. Wild Frost. That
Yes.
game just it was hard. Don't get me wrong, but I think it was just hard because it didn't make sense, right, John? I mean, it was just the format was broken. The cards were broken, right? Like you could do 8 damage, and the last boss of a run would have 800 damage, and I'm like, I'm never gonna hit this guy, and my health would be like 52, and I didn't understand what and how you were supposed to beat this. I did one time, I got lucky and I beat the game somehow, and that was it. Could never beat a run again. We were both hyped for this game, John, and it missed, and I think it missed because of the weird difficulty that it had.
The mechanics are weird. My memory of the game was I was finally getting a good run in the game, and it was doing, I forgot what the skill was, but when somebody attacks you, you hit them back.
Yeah.
And I had boosted up my character. So not only if I got hit, I would hit back, and then I would hit everybody. And it was like, oh my God, I'm so overpowered. And then an army of people with spikes fought me,
Mm-hmm.
and I got hit, and I was like, I'm going to hit you back. And I hit their fucking spikes, which injured me, which caused me to hit them back again. And I just watched my character go, game over. It was like, you
Yep.
mother God. That game was really frustrating.
Brutal.
Yeah.
Go
yeah, go ahead. Kev.
ahead, Hammer.
No, you go. You go.
Last year, I played through Overcooked 1 and 2 with my wife and 2 daughters on Switch. This year, we played through Overcooked 1 and 2 with my wife and 2 daughters on PS5. And I'm surprised our family still lives in the same house. We had to like force, we had to 3-star everything. That's my wife's rule.
Hell yeah.
And now she wants to go back and 4-star it. I'm like, we got to do that without the kids. So, but she had to like force the kids, we're playing Overcooked tonight. And the kids are like, no, mommy, no. And she's like, yeah, we are.
Wow.
So it was really hard on me and the family and, us as a community. But also what added to it is that the PS5 version is so janky. It's got, you go to pick your character and it'll just randomly pick a different character as soon as you press X. It'll give you what it wants you to have. And then like if you start a stage and halfway through you're like, we failed this, we're not going to get it, let's start over. You hit pause and then go to restart. It won't let you restart it 80% of the time.
Wow.
You have to you have to fully complete the stage and fail it and then restart it. Every now and then it'll work and you'll be able to restart it, but
That's
yeah,
weird.
that made it even
weird.
extra harder. So not necessarily the difficulty of the game, but to do that as a family of 4, 3-star them all, Overcooked 1 and 2 with glitches. That was pretty tricky. Yeah.
I appreciate your wife for that. 3-star thing is definitely when you know you're playing with the right person. I will tell you,
Yeah.
the 4 stars are freaking. I couldn't even 4-star the first level, so
Yeah.
I've never tried anything.
I
else.
looked at those scores. They like bumped them up. It's like, yeah, wait,
Absurd.
like almost
Sure, I
double.
knew you did 4-star.
It's new, yeah.
Yeah, wow.
It's absurd. It's crazy.
Well, my hardest moment was definitely Tank Sex, but my hardest game was Lies of P.
Yeah.
No
Lies of
shocker
P.
there. Definitely the hardest Souls-like game I played this year. A couple of bosses there really just slammed my didn't slam my controller physically, but I wanted to. They give you these little star, I think they're called star fragments or something like that. They basically, you can deposit it before a boss and you get this little like helper guy that comes in and he'll like aggro the guy or whatever. He'll help you out a little bit. They give you a finite amount of those. And there was a couple times where I was down to my last little star fragment. I'm like, if I don't get it this time, I got to go like buy some fragments or figure out how I get more. And I freaking got the boss. And it was just like the most satisfying moment when you can pull that off. But yeah,
Nice.
Lies of P.
Well, that's porn.
Nice. All right. This is a fun category. No judgment. Let's be nice to the devs and everything like that. But I think it's fun to like go back and think of like, what are the worst games that we played? Because I think that's when you can have the most fun. I think Drew and I will agree that Sports Story not only is the most disappointing game, but the worst. And I was listening to the Game Informer podcast, and they started talking about their Nintendo Wrap and how it said their first game was Sports Story, great start to the year. And he's like, actually, no, it was not the best start to the year. It is incredible. If you describe this game, if you look at clips of this game, you'd be like, how could that possibly be? And one of my most joyful moments of the year was Drew absolutely not believing me that Sports Story was terrible. And he's like, I'm going to play. And then he was like, gee, this game is terrible. Like, it's just, how did they mess it up? I want to see a documentary on it. It's not outwardly bad. It's got some glitches. I hope they've patched it. I don't know. It looks good. It never came together. It's crazy.
It's weird. The sports are just not good.
It's
That's
amazing.
the problem. If you have a game called Sports Story, like the sports need to be good.
Yeah. The sports were bad. It was like they would give you quests and you'd be like, what? I have to go get an orange juice? Like, what the heck? The runner-up for me, worst game I played this year was very disappointingly Blanc. That was a game that came out.
I'm so sad about that.
Yeah,
I wanted that to be good.
It came out Valentine's Day. I told Michelle, I was like, hey, you and I'm going to take the day off from work. We'll play Blanc together. We were excited for it. We're going to get some lunch. It sounds like my name. And it didn't live up to what you expected it to be. It just wasn't that couch op experience. It wasn't buggy. It just was boring, and it was fairly short too. So just disappointing in a different way than Sports Story. But I really wanted that game to be good, and it was just very bland.
One of the funny parts going back and listening to this year's episode, you talked about Sports Story, like the first 2 months, like the first 3 or 4 episodes of the show, you're like, Sports Story, terrible. I bought it because I didn't believe you. Drew didn't believe you. He bought it. I never played it. Finally, after you said it was bad, Drew played it. He said it was bad. I'm like, I bought it, but I've never even started it. But it's funny because then in July, Drew's talking about Sports Story and he goes, John, have you played Sports Story? Completely forgot about the whole experience. And you're like, what the fuck, man? Like, I'm the reason you played it. I told you not to play it. You didn't believe me and you played it. And Drew's like, oh, okay, man. Like, he had no idea 6 months later that you had even played that game. It was unbelievable. But that was my Sports Story moment of the year. But it's sitting on my Switch. I doubt I'll ever get to it. But nobody's played it to see if they patched it, huh? Nobody knows anything about that.
It won't matter though. I think there's several glitches and problems, but the whole game just doesn't flow together either.
Right.
It's the problem.
It's like 1,000 little mini quests you have to do in a row, and none of it makes any sense as to why you're doing it. I would love to hear you just play the first 5 hours, and I just would love to get an opinion on it, because it really is one of those games. It's hard to convince people that it's bad until you actually play it,
Yeah. I don't like fetch quests.
That's what it is.
It's just the most random. You're like, why am I helping this person out? I have things to do. Like, it's so weird.
That soccer one I played, now that I'm pitching at Hambone, that one was a lot better.
Oh, yes. Soccer Story.
Soccer Story.
Whatever.
Yeah.
That was it. With different developers, right?
Totally different. But
developer.
the same game.
Right.
But it's slightly better.
It was slightly better.
Yeah.
Well, I played a game worse than Sports Story, and that is called Nerf Legends.
Bought it on a sale, huh?
This was at a Walmart bargain bin, $5. I'm like, man, how bad could this game be? Me and Evan will kill it. Like, it's like GoldenEye, but Nerf guns. Like, sure, like that. No, I couldn't even get through the tutorial. It was like just exactly what you thought, like a 2002, like, you know what? No, like Windows 95 PC game. Like, it was just brutal.
I remember you getting that, and I was like very worried for you.
I mean, it was $5 at the end of the day. I've spent like much worse.
Oh yeah.
Marty
For sure.
and his son did like a unboxing of that game. I need to follow up with Marty with that one. That one got like worst game of the year lists like a lot.
So when I have my Excel list and I put my games, I usually put how much I paid for them, and then I paid. Where is it? I paid $9 for it. Shit.
Whoa.
And I give it a rating, and then I also say when I completed it or I say quit. So this is the first game ever it received a score of 1. Just 1.
Wow, it turned on. So it got a 1.
Just got a 1.
All right. My worst game I played was GoldenEye 007.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
That was terrible.
God.
I mean, how bad has this game aged? I remember back in the day on 64 playing this over and over and over for hours and hours and hours. And now in 2023, that game's terrible. I mean, I got up and walked away from it
You
during our
did.
play session. I couldn't even finish
You
it.
didn't even want the point.
Yeah,
No, I'm the one who picked the game, who put that game in the hat, and then it got drawn, and I didn't even finish it.
I
That's
played the
terrible.
whole campaign just when it came out on NSO.
And you guys had the campaign for the multi. God, why can't I remember Monthly Mayhem? For the Monthly Mayhem,
That's
and
right.
remember I submitted a time of like 3 hours or something.
That's right. You did.
There were people with like -7 seconds that beat it, and my time was like 3 hours.
But you played it.
That is a game
Yeah,
you had to have played back in the day because it is miserable.
Yeah, it's pretty.
It
brutal.
is, yeah.
Yep. Playing a shooter with one stick is just not what you can do anymore.
It's tough. It is tough.
Yeah. All right. My worst game of the year. Quick shout out to Lake. Fuck that game. But my worst game of the year has to be Cats on Streets.
Yes.
What?
No way, man. I almost bought that
I know.
because of your preview.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? I had it for what it was. It was like Highlights Magazine, the game, find the cats.
Yeah.
And then what you do after you find the cats is, you find some more cats. They happen to also be on streets. And then you find more cats. There just wasn't much to it. My favorite
But
part.
you sold it so well.
I did. But I mean,
That's what Hambone does.
Yeah,
he
puts on the
does.
ads.
if you're looking to vibe out with that game, sure, get it done. But had it not been a first look game, I would not have touched that one.
Fair enough.
It's the kind of game that somebody makes because they just want to put a game on Switch and brag to their
Yeah.
friends. It's
For sure.
It's not.
You find the
it's not a
cat.
game.
My favorite part of that game was the cat lady in the beginning. She showed up with her her cargo pants and her floppy hat. And I'm like, that's the cat lady. And then it kind of went downhill from there.
My goodness. All right, we got some. Oh, Kevin, did you go?
Yeah,
you went before
007.
Hambone. Okay. We have some more bonus categories, and this is I forgot the rules on this one. If this includes games that are not from this year or not, honestly. We kind of went back and forth with it, but whatever. I don't care. Best of 2023 categories. Hottest new character of the year. I've got a bunch here. I don't want to name them all because I suspect some others will be named. But Peppermint, I mentioned before from Hi-Fi Rush, is smoking hot. And
Got one leg, too, right?
Yeah, like she's just
Got
cool.
one leg.
She just seems
that's
like
fun. If you can pull one leg off, you can go to town on that nub.
Oh.
I guess I know, but like I just want to hang out with her. She just seemed really, really, really cool. Fire Emblem Engage had a bunch of really overly hot characters. Ivy and Zephyr, shout out. Professor Garlic from Hogwarts Legacy, faux show. And but my number one easily is Purah. once Purah walks onto the screen, man, she just steals your heart and runs away from it. And I loved her so much that I got sent an anime of her. So yeah, lots of hotties, and there's probably a bunch I'm missing, but a great year, a fantastic year.
It's always good to look for some new hot characters. I'm going with an oldie but a newie, Sammy from Advance Wars.
Oh yeah,
She seems redhead, the little belly shirt going on, little abs showing off,
tank top.
And then I'll throw one out there for Hambone, and we're gonna go with Teets from Sea of Stars.
Teets, very nice. Yeah.
Which one was Teets?
She was like the pink hair. She kind of came a little bit at like midway through the game. No,
did you play Sea of Stars, or are you just googling hot characters?
No, I played Sea of Stars.
I'm pretty sure is her name Teeks, not Teets.
Oh,
with a K.
I'm pretty sure it's Teets.
I'm not really sure what it is, but
Teets.
Pink hair.
We're gonna go with Teets from now on.
Put no titties.
My favorite character was Titties.
Oh, she was like the researcher. Is that,
the historian.
Yeah. You didn't fight with her or anything.
Yeah, she would run around you and write notes. Yep.
I think I liked her personality.
Sure.
Mine is Professor Mirabelle Garlic.
Yeah.
I'm a sucker for redheads, and yep, she did it for me.
Nice.
Yes.
I can't wait to play this game. I'm going to play it.
You got to play it. It's good.
I mean, we have it.
John, you mentioned two of my favorite Fire Emblem characters, Ivy with her whatever she's wearing. What is that, like doily thing on her face?
Hat.
Push that to the side, whatever. And Zephyr with her pieces of fabric shirt. Not really sure what that is. But I'm gonna give this one to the big melons from Suika game.
They're so like voluptuous.
Yeah,
They've got the shine on them too.
And you just want two of them.
You definitely want to.
Yeah.
You're
But
on
you
a
can never
quest
get-
for
you
two
never get 'em.
melons.
That's it.
Yeah. Good
Listen,
job.
we should make a bet. The first person that gets it, like $10 a man or something.
Yeah,
I mean, you need a mayhem idea for next year. I think Suika game's right up there on
it is.
what you could do.
It is.
Right now, I agree with that. High score. I mean, it's simple.
It is. Yep.
All right, John, I'll put that together.
Okay. Biggest surprise moment of the year. Up until this week there was a moment in Until Dawn where I was convinced all of my character. Until Dawn's like just a narrative game that I finally discovered this year. It's from 2015, and I freaking loved it. It was amazing. I thought a whole bunch of my characters had been killed, and lo and behold, they were all alive, all in twists and everything. It was fantastic, and I shouted in my seat, and I ran upstairs to my wife, and I was like, "They're alive! They're alive!" Like I was like, it just blew me away. This whole game blew me away. I can't believe I waited 8 years to actually play it, but that was it. Until this week, when the new shocking moment of 2023 is, I am playing Pokemon Violet.
What?
Cannot believe
Volatile
it.
Violet?
I have been in, I'll probably talk about it next episode, but like I have been in a Switch funk. I think I'm entering the phase where I'm not going to play Switch as much as my other consoles. And I was going to play Monster Sanctuary, and I was like, let me just play Pokemon Violet and just see how much pain I can endure. And
Not as much as Sports Story.
there is pain to be endured with Violet. This is so rough. I am shocked. I cannot believe
But it's
Pokemon is this
functional.
rough.
It's not that
Functional,
bad.
but Pokemon games
I don't
have
think it's that bad.
it just depends on your perspective. Pokemon games are very polished. Sword and Shield was polished. Arceus was polished. It's just shocking. Like it's
Sure, that's a fair assessment. I'll give you that.
yeah. I've played a ton of Pokemon games. They're so polished. I'm just shocked at it. It's like everything is so. The animation's all glitchy and things are popping in and out. And it's like, oh my god, I'm like 20 minutes in. Like it's crazy. Like, but yeah, I can't believe I'm playing it. I'll see how much I can endure. But I'm just plowing forward. Nimona is super hottie, by the way. Throw her on the hottest new character of the year list,
Yeah.
which that was his last year, but
Last year,
I really
yeah,
like
last
Nimona.
November.
She's my neighbor.
My biggest surprise was one of my best games, Gunbrella, the ending. I don't want to spoil it because it is kind of the ending, but I will say there's actually an alternative ending. I don't know if you knew this, Hambone. I never got it, but there's a way to get it.
Oh, No, I never
But I
got
don't
it.
think I can get it unless I replay it.
Hambone's like, I didn't care about the story. I don't really give a fuck.
It was a good ending.
Yeah. It was a good
Yeah,
ending.
it was a good
It
ending.
was a good
yeah.
ending.
But I didn't see it coming.
Me either.
I didn't either.
I don't.
So
This is so
Yeah.
weird. This is just a Drew I've never seen. It's like he is so into this story. It's crazy.
the stand was great. That's it.
My biggest surprise, that's what we're doing, right? I
Yep.
went to, back in 2017, 2018, I went to PSX PlayStation Experience. Had some really cool stories from there. Got to meet Kojima, both God of War people that made both the God of War games. A lot of quote celebrities. Shuhei, but it was a really fun time to go there and just play PlayStation games and nerd out with a bunch of PlayStation fans. And this year, then we had, I don't know if you heard, the coronavirus hit in 2020 and shut everything down. So PlayStation Experience didn't come back after that. And I was just really surprised that Nintendo Live actually happened this year with, number one, just the post-COVID life, and with as late as the Switch is in its, career, for them to put on like a live event to come and play a bunch of video games, like I didn't see that. If that was not on my bingo card at the beginning of the year, you know what I'm saying? So that was a complete shock and a wonderful event as well.
That was awesome. Living it through you, Cooz, was a pleasure.
Yeah, it was very cool.
My pleasure.
Yeah. All right. So my biggest surprise moment of this year, I think, was the Metroid Prime remaster kind of shadow drop. I was not expecting that. That's actually still on my backlog. I thought that was just like a really cool moment. People have been talking about that game for a while, and obviously Metroid Prime 4 hanging out there. But yeah, was not expecting that, and I thought that was just a very cool moment in time.
For sure.
Sweet. Next category is best small game of the year. We didn't really want to define what an indie is, and so just small game. Use your discretion. Definitely Dredge for me. I had that on my top 10 list, but outside of that, I finally got to playing Elec Head this year.
Cool.
Finally got some head. Didn't have to pay $400 for it. I definitely paid, I think, like $5 for head. And I enjoyed every moment of it until the end. And when it was all over, I was sad. But that's a great little game. Fantastic fun. Doesn't overstay its welcome. And yeah, I definitely recommend that one. It was fantastic. So go get yourself
I too got some head. Yeah, I too got some head for $5. You know what I didn't like is that this is probably a whole nother conversation, but the bad ending versus good ending or whatever, like apparently I didn't do enough to get a true ending or to actually finish the game, but that was, yeah.
Yeah,
but it was I liked the mechanics and the gameplay. It was really cool.
Yeah, I got stuck right at the end and I was like, what the hell do I do? It has this weird mechanic where you have to go back to the beginning and you just wouldn't know. That kind of was a little annoying, but otherwise the whole game was fantastic. Yeah, it's so good.
My best small game, Dwarf. Simple. Keep it at that. Already talked about it.
Mine is Gumbrella. Is
Nice.
that a small game?
Yeah, that's small.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that was mine.
All right. I'm gonna shout out Cocoon here. This was,
Ooh, that's on my list. That's on my list.
This is a really, really fun game, about 4 hours long. Throws you right into the action. You're not really sure what to do, but it tells you via the environment kind of what you can interact with and those sorts of things. And the way it builds upon the mechanics is really unique. Like you have to be holding the certain orb to make a bridge so you can get across, or kind of get up to a ledge, or those sorts of things. And you end up being able to go into the orbs, which are its own world, and you can carry orbs from, that you're carrying and go into this other orb. It just the way it builds on itself is so unique. I didn't play anything else like it this year. And I was very satisfied after my 4 hours with that game. So Cocoon.
Is it worth $25?
Yeah, it is. It is. It's a little steep for that, honestly, for the amount of time you'll spend in it. But if you're like, hey, I'm really interested in this, I think it's worth $25.
Okay.
Does it feel like, is it replayable, do you think? Which is like something...
No,
Okay.
I don't think it's replayable. I played it on Game Pass, so it was great. After I finished up Lies of P, I needed a little breather, and Cocoon was it.
Games like that really like they become like games you don't want to buy. You're just like, well, if it's not replayable, it's single, it's short. It's like
Yeah.
I'll just wait for it to be on a service. All right. Next up is best remaster or remake of the year. I gotta say, I really enjoyed Advance Wars 1 and 2. It was kind of tough to play 2 after 1, but I pushed myself to keep going. And 2 is the better game for sure. But by the time you get there, you're kind of getting a little tired of it, maybe. I mentioned Super Mario RPG and just being able to play that one. And I'll be honest, this wasn't my favorite game of the year. And sometimes I actually found it, frankly, quite annoying. But being able to play Live Alive this year was really cool to see. That was a game Per Schneider had always talked about, and it was a gorgeous looking game, HD, 2D, whatever. And even though there were definitely some stories I didn't like as much as others, it was really neat the way you played these completely different storylines, sometimes with completely different styles of play. And it was like opening up a little Christmas present and being like, what am I going to get? And yeah, you might get a little bit of a turd. But you might get something really cool. And yeah, I enjoyed that. That was a very cool remaster because if you look at the original, they did a lot for this game. So that was pretty impressive.
Did you say you did a little turd for a Christmas present?
In Live Alive, yeah.
Okay, just want to make sure.
I mean, some of those ones were like the egg level was weird, but the cowboy level was cool. You know, it
I was going to play that one. You talked me out of it.
It wasn't my favorite game, but it did make it interesting that it was like 7 different games in one.
Mm-hmm. My best remaster is the obvious here, Mario RPG. Again, talked about it quite a bit, but absolutely loved it. Loved the art style. Loved the visuals of it.
That's a good one. Yep. Mine is Kirby Return to Dreamland Deluxe.
That's a good one.
I didn't play many remasters this year, but that one I actually dabbled in.
Cool.
Monthly Mayhem, that's why.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Super Mario RPG for me as well. That's probably my favorite one of the year.
I feel like we'll play more and more remasters and remakes every single year. I didn't play Resident Evil 4 remake.
Yeah. I didn't get to Dead Space either. I wanted to. I haven't.
Yeah, I feel like those would have been
list.
Yeah, I feel like those would have been the top of our list if we played them. I have RE4 remake, but I haven't played it yet either.
Reminds me of the rant that, and it reminds me because Cooz pulled this clip and you all will hear this shortly of Red Dead Redemption.
The rant basically says Red Dead Redemption came out as the same time as the last season of Lost. So if you were to re-release the last season of Lost right now, would anybody give a fuck? Probably not. So why are you releasing a video game that's that old? And why do people care? That was Drew's argument against that.
My only feedback is that you should have pulled the clip for the very next line statement that says, "John, I bought it."
And then you didn't like it.
Yeah. No, I didn't. Yeah. I told myself I wasn't gonna like it, and then I bought it anyway for the plane ride to come see you guys.
You never have to remaster a show, though. It's such a different world. Like we can watch Lost. It never went away, but we play games on systems, and you can't play the game on that system. So
yeah, but can you watch it anywhere?
Yeah,
I don't know. Yeah.
Anyways. Worst case, you get a DVD or something. All right. Last category is not the last category. Best DLC. For me, probably it's tough. Burning Shores for Horizon Forbidden West was the most fleshed out one. It was fantastic, even if I didn't enjoy it to the fullest because I forgot how to freaking play by the time I played it. But I really want to, I mentioned it today on my other show. I really want to play it again in the future because there's so many quests I did not do in Burning Shores. And there's so much stuff I want to see, but I forgot how to play the freaking game by the time, and I had to suffer through it. And I still enjoyed the DLC. That's how good it was. Other one got to be Return to Castlevania for Dead Cells. I became a Dead Cells super fan this year. I bought all the DLC, but Return to Castlevania was so fantastic with the music and the weapons and the special levels. And I had to find all the bosses and whatever. It's such a great Dead Cells is so fantastic, and there's so much fun to be had. But that DLC was something special.
Nice. Mine, Mine was actually Shredder's Revenge, Dimension Shell Shock.
Oh yeah.
This was one that I didn't really have any expectations for, and then when I bought it and I found out that it was just this like one roguelike mode, I was like, well, that's kind of dumb. Like, and then I started playing it, and it became addicting, and I kept playing it and kept playing it, and I kept wanting to beat it. And when you get to the end and you fight Shredder, I was like, oh my god, this is incredible, but it's also so hard. So I had a lot of fun with that.
I was going to buy that actually this week.
It's a good one.
Yeah.
I bought the physical version of it from Limited Run just because it
I
included
saw that
DLC.
in the store today. It looked pretty. I already had the physical version of the first one. I'm like, do I buy two physical versions of the same game with no, I don't.
No.
My best DLC is a little to the left, John. Holla at your boy.
Woo!
It's so good. It brought me back into the game, and it had some super fun puzzles, and it was really good. With a close second place to the Mario Kart DLC, that brought me in playing Mario Kart again. So not that I ever really stopped, but yeah.
That DLC was so long in the making. I don't even know if it's a 2023 or 2022 or 2021 DLC.
Yeah, right. I know. Yeah.
I didn't even play. I don't think.
I think they stretched it out for 2 years.
either.
It's all done.
The Mario Kart one?
The last one. Nah, I
we
didn't touch
played
it.
it.
I didn't play it.
All right.
Didn't you play
I
with
usually
us?
was.
I thought you played kart with us. Did you not?
No.
No.
Little to the Left DLC was better than the base game. It was so good.
Yeah.
It was
yeah,
crazy.
It was.
Cool. All right, my DLC, favorite DLC, Horizon Forbidden West, Burning Shores. That was definitely my favorite one this year. I've started God of War, Ragnarok, Valhalla. Haven't really gotten far into it, but I'm assuming I'll probably like that one better than Burning Shores, but just haven't played it enough to give it the full nod.
Are you able to play the Valhalla and feel somewhat familiar with it, or has it been a little rough?
It was a little
Yeah,
rough. I maybe played it for like a half hour. Took a minute to get used to it, but they give you a kind of a menu where you can kind of look over the controls and whatnot. It comes back pretty quick.
Okay. Sweet. Well, our last category also comes from a question from Hoots, who asked, for everyone, what is the best game you played this year that didn't release in 2023? And he added, preferably one you played for the first time so that not everyone says Super Smash Brothers Ultimate.
That's never the answer.
Hoots is a Smash super fan. All right. So the question is, what is your favorite game you played this year that did not come out this year? I have a bunch. I could not pick.
Of course not.
So I went with, and these are all Portal 2. I absolutely fucking adored Portal 2, and somehow I could play it in first person. I still can't believe that.
Hey, while you're on that, is Portal and Portal 2, are those good plane games?
Sure. They're short. I mean, Portal 1 is really short. You actually zoom through that game all the way into like the last level. Portal 2 is longer. It's so good. Oh god.
Okay.
Fantastic.
Yeah, they're on
you
my
can play 'em on
Switch
a
just
plane.
waiting for me to tickle.
Okay. Yeah, no, they would be.
Suckers.
You can pick them up and put them down pretty quickly. Until Dawn is instantly one of the best narrative games I've ever played. I had a blast with it. It's from the people that did The Quarry. It was the previous game. I had never played it. Came out 2015. Looks fantastic for the time. It didn't age too poorly. Definitely not as smooth looking as The Quarry, but it's 8 years older. So absolutely great. Did you play The Quarry, Hambone, or you haven't played The Quarry yet?
Have not yet. Nope.
Okay. If you love The Quarry, you should definitely play Until Dawn. It's on PS Plus. I think they're both on PS Plus, maybe. Ghost of Tsushima, which Hambone was there for that. That's a fantastic game. For sure. Final Fantasy VII Remake. I really love that one. When you guys talking about family games, you're talking about Overcooked and all that. Keep talking and nobody explodes. I probably had way more fun with that game than anybody in my family did. I still want to play that game. That is an incredible gaming experience on Switch because you look at the screen on the Switch and nobody else can see the screen and they have to defuse the bomb using documentation. Whereas that would be a harder game to play on a base like PlayStation, Xbox, whatever. But they do have a VR mode that makes it easier too. Anything where you only one person can see the screen. That's why it works really well, Switch and handheld mode. I absolutely loved that game. I was just obsessed with it.
That's a good
Nice.
one.
That's all I got.
It's all. All right, I have a few too as well. Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze. This is the first time I ever played this game. Never played it back in the
Alright.
day or anything. So had a lot of fun with that. I'll throw out Cult of the Lamb there for Hambone because I also played that much earlier in the year. Ori and the Will of the Wisp. Never got around to playing the second one for whatever reason, and I loved the first one, and I loved this one as well. So great one. And the last one I'm going to say is Pokemon Shield is I think what put me over the top with Pokemon. I went and collected every fucking Pokemon and completed the Pokédex and played DLC, and me and Evan just fell in love. This is where his love for Pokemon comes from, and we had an absolute blast playing this game together. So that's my list.
Nice. If you like couch co-op games, if you like playing games with other people, if you like having a good time, if you like video games, if you are a human being and you hear this, play Spider-Heck, man. Spider-Heck. I'm gonna keep preaching the gospel of Spider-Heck until everybody owns it and everybody plays it. So that's my go-to.
Hell yeah,
That's
good game.
That was fun.
I've got a couple over here too. Cyberpunk 2077. It's been spending a ton of time in that game. Amazing. Spider-Man, Miles Morales. I said I played both of the old ones, but I think Miles Morales I like a little bit better. The Last of Us Part 2 I got around to for the first time this year. Great game. I also want to call out Moss on PSVR 2.
Yeah.
Awesome little game there. Third person perspective, little mouse buddy, cool little story, environments you can interact with in VR. It's a great time.
Yeah, it is.
Nice.
Beautiful. Oh, The Last of Us still breaks my soul. All right, so that's all of our categories. We've got a couple questions, and then we'll wrap this up as we're hitting the 3-hour mark. We did it. 3 hours.
That's it. Longest episode of the year right here.
We got a question from Max Power. I've seen a lot of best of lists, but what are the worst games and movies? And we already did games. What are the worst games and movies that you played and watched this year? We kind of went over the worst games, but anybody got some worst movies? I can start with one.
I'll let you all handle this one.
I just watched the end of it today. I talked a little bit about it pre-show. I watched A Christmas Story 2. This was a 2012 cash grab. I mean, sequel that they made.
2012? I thought it was newer than that.
No. This is not the new one from last year. This was a second movie they did, and it is the same characters from the first movie, but older. But everybody's recast. There's a mom. There's the guy from Home Alone is playing the dad, and he's like literally younger than the dad was in the original. The boys have grown up a little bit more, but they're played by different actors because the kids are now older than they were there. And they basically just made A Christmas Story with a different story, but they really tried to hit you with all of the best moments from A Christmas Story, and like, oh, look, it's the leg lamp. Oh, it's him, like him meeting Santa. Like they just try to re-hit those. It was pretty bad. It was pretty bad. That's got to be the worst movie I've seen this year. There might be more that are worse, but that one was, for a movie that I watched all the way through, that was bad.
Indiana Jones sucked.
I didn't see it yet.
It was not good.
The Dial of Destiny.
Dial of Destiny. Yeah.
I heard like the first half was good, or am I thinking of a different movie?
It dragged. It dragged for sure.
I gotta watch it still, but
yeah, it's worth a watch, but don't expect much.
I'd say Terrifier 2, but that movie was fucking excellent.
Why would you say Terrifier 2?
I'm not. Because people might be thinking it, but it's not. It's misunderstood.
Those movies sound awful.
You gotta watch
I
them.
started watching the first one.
I don't do gore. I don't do gore.
Hey, boy, why couldn't you do it?
I got to the first kill, and I'm like, I'm out. Like I can't do that. I was watching it at night. she was in the dressing
Yeah.
room and it was and I was like, yeah, no, get out of here. I get it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do an hour and a half of this. Yeah, out. I'll just re-listen. I'll do
guys.
the pull of Cooz and just listen to the episode when you guys talk about, the flaying of
Yeah.
the tits or whatever that was at
And,
that point.
and fast forward through it too. I don't know how you can watch that, Drew, and still be a normal human being and go to sleep.
Because I've worked behind the scenes in horror films, and once you see how it happens,
No,
it's
I
not
guess
that-
so. Yeah, I
fun.
guess so. Yeah.
It's bad.
All right,
Yeah.
what's the next one? What do we got?
Is that it? Is that all we got?
That's all I got.
All right. Darth Platypus asks, what's a game that isn't on Switch that came out this year that you'd like to have tried on the Nintendo Switch?
Gollum.
There you go. Yeah. You gotta stick with
Made a list.
stick with what you love.
Loyal. I'm loyal. Actually, I think the Moria game looks better than that one.
I think Moria does actually look interesting. But I think a good game for Switch would be Chia. I think that would be a really good fit for
yeah.
Switch. I don't think it's overly
Yeah.
taxing. Probably has to downgrade the visuals a little bit, but I think you can get that bad boy running on Switch. And I think it'll be really fun.
That's a great pick there. Yeah.
I like to play my like RPGs and stuff like on Switch, and definitely Drew. I think this one would be right. Diablo 4.
Yes. I wonder if they'd ever port that over. I could see that dropping or showing that off in an in a direct.
I can see them just waiting for if there's going to be a Switch 2 next year, just waiting for that. Because it would be a lot of effort, and
The
I have a
cutscenes
feeling
are pretty
this
intensive, right? They're like pretty cinematic from what I've heard.
Yeah, they are. Sometimes the cutscenes are the easy part because you can just pre-render them.
Yeah.
But I think just all the action and stuff is just much more up-resed, and I just feel like Diablo 3 was such a great port. Maybe they can do it with this one, but you need the action to be pretty quick, especially in this game. It's got to be quick. So I can see them just waiting for the next gen and then doing it.
I think Hi-Fi Rush would be a good port there.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I think that's a good one too.
They need to sell some copies of that thing because I don't think many people actually bought it. People played it.
That was just a Game Pass exclusive.
Yeah. I think they need to get some sales. So I definitely can see that one ported to actually both systems, honestly.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, so that's the end of it. I guess let's just do some quick wrap ups of 2023. What did you think about 2023? Great year? Bad year?
Yeah, great year. I think it was a very solid year. Like I said, when I was making my list, it was hard to rank them. I think it's a solid A, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
When you look back, we got some big Nintendo, items, right? We got the Mario and Zelda and Pikmin and some remakes and everything. I thought it was a solid year.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I mean, I think industry wide, I think there's a lot of games we've been waiting on for a while, Starfield and Tears of the Kingdom and, a bunch of other stuff. Some great surprises with Mario Wonder and, a lot of these other games that just, we didn't know about going into the year that really helped to round it out. And I think it was really amazing.
Yeah.
Yep. I mean, I agree. I think that the Switch is obviously at the end of its rope now, and PlayStation's really starting to hit its stride now. PS5 is, but I think what made this game what made this year really different and special and great was, the Mario movie, the Last of Us TV show, all the movies and TV shows based on video games that came out this year was
Gran
several that were really
Turismo.
good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then the Mario theme park coming out. It was just like, and then Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom. Drew had mentioned it on the show how he had friends that this is like the first Zelda they played. My sister-in-law called me and was like, "Hey, how do I get a hold of this Zelda game that people are talking about?" She didn't even own a Switch, and she was wanting to play the Zelda. So the hype behind Tears of the Kingdom, I've never seen anything like it. So that was really unique and special. But yeah, with the theme park and the movies, the Nintendo Live, the TV shows, it was a fun year for video game fans as a whole.
Agreed. I agree with that.
Yeah, and then like you're kind of saying, Hambone, like this year we knew. I mean, sometimes when you go into a year, people start predicting game of the year already, and it's like silly. It's
Yeah.
like, can we let these games come out, because you don't know what's going to happen. But coming into this year, we knew about Tears of the Kingdom, we knew about Starfield. They were like some like huge monstrous games, and then by the end of the year, it was like the best games included Alan Wake 2 and Baldur's Gate 3, and it just got out of nowhere. And it's like amazing that you do have these like predictable ones, but there's always these games that come, and we got tons of really good indie games, Dave the Diver and Dredge, and then we got the movies and like I totally agree with you, Kuz. Like Last of Us was such an incredible experience for a show. Yeah, every year always has surprises, and we'll talk about it in a second about 2024, but it's the things we don't know that are coming that are probably going to steal the show in 2024 as well.
Agreed.
And then we can, let's go right into that. But like 2024, what are you excited for? What do we know about now, or maybe expecting to come out in 2024? Nobody talk about Silk Song, please. What's coming in 2024 that you're excited about?
I'm actually super excited for Luigi's Mansion 2 because I love that series, and I've never played that one because again it was on the 3DS. I just not a big fan. Also, Star Wars Hunters. I've been needing a game, John, to replace my Paladins addiction, and I think Star Wars Hunters could be that game. But I think overall, I'm just excited and hyped for the future of Nintendo. Right? There's no chance we go 12 months without hearing something big, right? The other thing that we don't really fully know is to Cruz's point is the future of theme parks, right? We know that they're building these, and they're building one in Orlando as we speak, but we don't know what that means for the future. I have to assume Zelda IP is gonna start entering these somewhere. We have the confirmed Zelda movie coming up, right? So I think, to Cruz's point of 2023, I think it's going to continue into 2024, and I think just the hype for Nintendo as a Nintendo fan, a podcast, or whatever you want to look at it, is an exciting year to look forward to.
For sure. Yeah, I'm excited for it too. I mean, yeah, the Super Nintendo GameCube 64 is coming out this year, so we'll get the new Nintendo console, and everybody will be happy, right? That's what I'm looking forward to.
Yeah. I need some news on Hades 2. I think we're getting early access, Q1 or Q2. I'm super excited about that. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, we know that's happening. Extremely excited about that one. Plucky Squire, like I'm ready for Plucky Squire, man. Like let's
I gotta keep my expectations low for that, because man, it looks awesome.
It looks so awesome. I'm so hyped for it. I'm nervous it got pushed, but hey, maybe it just needs a little bit more time to bake. But yeah, man, I'm super excited about those games.
Yeah, I'm really excited for what I hope to be a maybe early Switch 2 announcement. I think we kind of brought it up. The Switch is starting to struggle with like games like Chia. Like if it had a Chia, and we're already talking about it, might struggle with that one. It's like it's like everything now. It can't keep up with anything. It's time to kind of move on, and it doesn't even have to be a new console. It could just be a faster version of the Switch. It doesn't even have to be exclusive games or whatever. So I'm kind of hoping to hear more news on that. Otherwise, Star Wars Outlaws is the Star Wars game I'm kind of excited for. I talked about it was last week, Lost Records, that little Life is Strange game.
Yep.
I had to make sure I get Life is Strange in there, Kuz, for you. Mina the Hollower was still obviously that's not coming out 2023. I was super hyped for that one. And then again, like Hades 2, but it really is the stuff that we don't know about is the stuff that's the most exciting. Is Nintendo going to announce something? I don't know. Their year looks a little, tame or whatever. There's definitely some like remakes like Luigi's Mansion 2, and we got the Peach game, but I feel like they're holding something big back for a Switch 2 announcement. And if we do get a Switch 2 and a more powerful Switch, what third-party games are going to be delivered on there that are going to play really well? And that's what I'm excited about. The stuff we really don't know about. That's going to be the interesting one. All right. Good show. I think we broke a record.
Yeah,
So-
Drew is struggling.
I woke up so early today. I think I would have like 3:45.
Hey, I wanted to give just real quick. I wanted to give a shout to a couple games that I just wanted to kind of throw out there. Lego 2K Drive, super fun game for kids, super fun game to play, pick up and play. A game, Sunshine Shuffle, is if you like poker games, you're playing poker with a bunch of teddy bears, and they're telling you a story about how they robbed a bank. It's really interesting. It's really different. It's really cool. So the longer you stay in the hand and play poker with them, like the more the story you get out of them, you know.
That's not
And
a real game.
speaking of games that don't run well on the Switch, the FC24, the new FIFA game, runs really well on the Switch. If you like sports games, there's not a lot out there on the Switch. There's a co-op. To play that in co-op, there's a 3-on-3 mode that's super fun. It would be really fun to play couch co-op, that soccer game. So just throw that out there, and it's on sale right now too. So just a couple of honorable mentions there.
Love the pitch.
Yeah.
No
Yeah.
pun intended.
The games that nobody mentioned. WarioWare, Move It. We
Yeah.
still love you. We had a
Everybody
lot of fun.
want to Switch.
Gotta play that
Toaster ball. I'm going to get Toaster
You know what?
Ball,
Toaster
Hambone.
Ball was fun. I would definitely play that. Good time with the family for sure.
With people.
Yeah, you have to
not
play
by
with people.
yourself.
Don't play it by
Yeah.
yourself.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, our Switch mob parties were everybody wanted to Switch and WarioWare, right? Those were the two that we did this
That's
year.
it. Yeah.
Those games, no matter how bad a game can be, and everybody wanted to Switch was not a good game. When you're just playing it with a bunch of people who are just enjoying the weirdness of a game, everything is fantastic. And we had fun that night.
Oh yeah. It was a
And
blast.
I think I only played one time since then.
Me
and
too.
It's just not the same unless you have the right group.
Yep.
All right. Poor Drew. You're suffering.
What a year. What a year it's been for us, for Nintendo. It's been a blast. And like John said, we'll have a little special Christmas morning present for you.
Yeah, look forward to that.
Yeah. Stay tuned for that. It's good stuff.
You will want to hear it. All right, everybody. That was fun. We'll do it again next year. Good night, dads.
Yeah.
Good night.
Merry Christmas. Happy New Year.
The Dads After Dark show is part of the Nintendo Dads family of podcasts. You can subscribe to us anywhere podcasts are available. If you're listening through Apple or Spotify, please leave us a 5-star review. It helps us promote our show, and we'd be grateful to hear your feedback. Check us out on Threads and Instagram at NDadsAfterDark. Send us a question to dadsafterdarkshow@gmail.com, and we'll read it on the show. Or if you want to hear yourself on the show, leave us a voicemail. See the episode description for a link to do that. Be sure to join us on Discord and our Dads After Dark channels. That's where we chat. You can participate in our monthly Mayhem contest, plus other activities such as Chubbies and so on. You can get access by joining the Nintendo Dads Patreon or by subscribing to their Twitch channel. A big thank you to Family Jewels for the show's music. Check out their YouTube to hear other awesome Nintendo cover tunes.